Welcome to LTU Game Day. As you guys can see, the sun is shining. We have a beautiful morning for college football. We are brought to you by the inaugural homecoming football game at Lawrence Technological University. My name is Jay Redmond, and I'll be your host today. Next to me, we have the football sports information director, Jonathan Hevron, the LTU sports report producer, Gabe O'Neill, and last but not least, the creative service specialist, Derek Blaylock. It's homecoming week, and it's been exciting on campus. As you can see, all of our students are out this morning. Yeah! It's been a great week, exciting week on campus for our community. We had our Powder Puff football game, our staff and student football game on Thursday night. Last night we kicked off the basketball season with our women's and men's basketball Midnight Madness. But the most important one was Wednesday night. Our soccer team got a big 3-0 victory over Rochester College. And Gabe, they seem to be off to a good start this year.
Yeah, the men's soccer team is going off right now. Honestly, they started the WAC 0-1 against Madonna, but since then they have been on a 5-game winning streak, taking out every opponent by over 2 goals, I believe. They've put up 18 points in their past 5 games. They have had 5 straight shutouts now. Goalkeeper Max Jewett is an absolute tyrant in net, and he is just really running the back line for the entire team. So good things coming from them, Jay.
Sounds good, man. And like you said, it's been a great season for volleyball this fall as well. But really, we're here with football today as well. And like I said, it's been a great start to the season. Currently 5-0, and today we're going on to the football recap for the Blue Devils for John and Gabe. Take it away, John.
You, Gabe, you mentioned the fact that the soccer team has been very stingy in the goal department, giving up, about 3 hours of shutout soccer.
3 hours of shutout soccer, yeah, absolutely.
Coincidentally, the football team, about 3 hours of shutout football for them. Ruined last week in the fourth quarter against Trinity Bible. They won 68-7, though. They off to a 5-0 start. I don't think anyone expected this coming into the season. But today, big test with Indiana Wesleyan, coming in 4-1 with a mostly conference schedule, a bit different approach than what we had in the scheduling. But, so far, 55 points per game. But what really stands out to me, Gabe, it's not all by the offense.
No, it definitely is not all about the offense. The defense was holding their own, more than holding their own, especially with the special teams involved. They're outscoring their opponents, I believe, 48-36?
42-36.
42-36, excuse me. But on all sides of the ball, they're getting fumbles for touchdowns, interceptions, pick sixes. They're doing it all on both sides of the ball and on special teams as well.
And then looking at the offense, you do have Tyler Kalkar, starting quarterback. Redshirt freshman coming in. He had a 2-year mission trip, but right now, 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Big stat line for him. The Blue Devils are taking care of the football with a +6 turnover margin. You're going to win a lot of football games like that.
After talking to Coach Duvendeck, throughout the season, he has said that Tyler is definitely their main leader of the team. He's the oldest on the team. I believe he's 21 years of age. Most of these other younger guys are, 18, 19 years old, and he's just really holding it down for them. They look up to him, and he has been just improving every game and really just absolutely lights out in the air.
Absolutely. We're coming into this. This is our 6th game of the season. 3rd game at home so far. We had Oakland, over 4,000 people there. We had 2,800 against Pittsburgh. And now we're looking for about 3,000 plus today with a capacity of 2,000. Great home crowd, as you can see behind us.
Yeah, let's hear it!
We're excited for a great homecoming matchup with Indiana Wesleyan. So, Jay?
And at this point, like I said, each of our panelists, we'd like to have an individual topic for them to discuss for each of them. We'll start at the end with Derek Blaylock.
So we got my topic of the day. We got MSU going against Penn State, guys. Big game in Hatton Valley, and no one's giving Michigan State a chance, but I'm going to tell you guys a little secret here. Michigan State is going to win today on a controversial late call heading into Michigan week. And then it is off to the races there, guys.
Very optimistic there, Derek. For my grab bag of the day, I'm going with Notre Dame to the national championship over Alabama. Let's go Irish. On a hot streak right now. That's all I got to say. The change in quarterback, Ian Book, potential Heisman candidate, but I know you got a Heisman candidate yourself there, John.
I do have a Heisman candidate myself, so I got 2 grab bags today. I'm going to start off, since you transitioned so well into it. Will Grier for Heisman, West Virginia Mountaineers, undefeated in the Big 12. Big matchup November 3rd against Texas, who I heard a rumor Texas football is back. I don't believe it. I don't know.
Texas is back.
I don't know about that.
See that Oklahoma game?
I saw the Oklahoma game. I'm just saying they haven't played West Virginia yet. But with that, the Mountaineers, I think a Big 12 champion will trump an undefeated champ out of the Big Ten. I think you're looking at a playoff picture of Georgia, Bama, maybe Notre Dame. That strength of schedule is concerning.
Come on, give it to me. Give it to me.
And
give
then
me
West
some confidence.
Virginia. My second grab bag, though, I'm looking at the Legion of Doom, the defensive line under the direction of Mike Davis here at Lawrence Tech. They have been just a force, an absolute brick wall, giving up 24.2 yards per game on the ground. They haven't surrendered a rushing touchdown yet all season. Tommy Larson anchoring that line, 5.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Tommy Lappin, though, on the linebacker core, is leading the team with 8.5 tackles for loss. They've been impressive. 3 safeties so far this year for that defensive line. It's been quite an impressive season so far.
I just love how we're in Michigan, and all 3 of you guys forgot about the game in Ann Arbor this week. In Ann Arbor, the Michigan Wolverines are playing the Wisconsin
We have
Badgers.
to go to Ann Arbor to cover that game after this. Yeah.
So as you guys are aware, that's my pick game of the week, and most importantly, that's going to solidify their spot into the college playoffs at the end of the year as they end up beating Ohio State. But more importantly, we have the main event, and that is the game here in Southfield, Michigan, with the matchup with Indiana Wesleyan and Lawrence Technological University. So at this point, I'd love to transition back to John as he talks a little bit more about the matchup for today's game with Lawrence Tech and Indiana Wesleyan.
Definitely the main event. It's our first homecoming game on campus here in Southfield. It's our first homecoming game in 72 years. So right away, heck of a matchup. Both of us, Indiana Wesleyan and Lawrence Tech, will be competing in the Mid-States Football Association starting next year. Both are first-year programs. But you look at this matchup on paper, you know, it's a go either way. It's 50-50. Great rush attack for Indiana Wesleyan, but Gabe, sneaky pass attack so far.
Sneaky pass attack, definitely. Indiana Wesleyan proves to be a great opponent for our LTU Blue Devils. Their defense isn't maybe as strong as ours, but their offense is definitely going to give our defense a good look this week, and then headed into Northern Michigan, one of our other tougher opponents. So it's going to be a good look. But I got to say, I think with the home crowd here today, maybe reaching a 4,000 capacity, I don't know, could happen. I don't think the Wildcats will be able to handle it.
You know, it's definitely going to be a great advantage for us being here at home. Zach Blair, though, looking at that passing attack for Indiana Wesleyan, completing 60% of his passes, 8 touchdowns. And so far, it's been Braden Smith, his primary target. 4 of those 8 touchdowns have gone to him. We know the strength of our defense is that secondary. It's going to be a great test for those guys here today. Yeah,
our secondary is led by Cam Mitchell, who had another pick 6, a big hit for a forced fumble last week. The guy is just a monster in the secondary. Some other names to mention: Justin Knott,
Jalen Smith,
excuse me.
Mike Woolrich. It's very deep in the defensive secondary. It's going to be, as I said, it's going to be a very good matchup. We're looking forward to that. We've been doing a great job, as I mentioned earlier, the Legion of Doom from my grab bag. They've been getting pressure on the quarterback, forcing those bad throws, allowing our defensive backs to make a play on the ball.
No doubt. And we're going to transition now to our staff picks for the games of the week. We're going to bring on Jamie the Goose Vassell, Director of Fun here at Lawrence Tech, our good friend. We're going to bring her on, do a few games. Give Jamie some love. All right, our first game of the week, we're going to keep it in the NAIA. Siena Heights from Adrian, Michigan, against St. Francis, who is 4-2. John, just start it off for us right now.
Well, we got number 20 versus number 13 in this matchup. The interesting part of this, Siena Heights undefeated right now, having a heck of a season, but St. Francis are back-to-back national championships. They've lost their last 2 games, so it's at home. I'm expecting St. Francis to rebound, especially in a ranked opponent in national stage. I think St. Francis takes this game.
I'm going to have to go with Siena Heights to disagree with you. I apologize, but we got a few of the Siena Heights alumni and one of their previous coaches, Coach Dan McCune, our defensive coordinator, was a coach at Siena Heights, and Coach Yellowshawn, one of our linebacker coaches, was a player there. So I'm going to give them some love and pick their alma mater.
I got to go back-to-back national champions, St. Francis. They're not going to lose 3 in a row. Jamie, what do you got?
I'm going to agree with Gabe. I got to go with Siena Heights in this one.
Jay?
I'm going to go with Siena Heights, staying in Michigan.
All right, so Gabe and I are 1-0 already, so that's a good start for us.
All right, moving right along, we have got Marion versus Taylor, another, 2 teams that our LTU Blue Devils are going to be seeing up in the next year. John, you want to kick this one off and let us know what you think?
Marion, they had the first defeat over St. Francis. It was a big upset. They are now up to number 2 in the country, undefeated. They're playing Taylor, who has 2-3 overall, 0-1 in conference, but they had a big win to start the season off against the team we're seeing here today, Indiana Wesleyan and Marion. I think this is a trap game for Marion. I think they got to be careful with Taylor. Taylor can put up points. We've seen it all season. I'm taking Taylor in the upset.
I'm going to agree with you there on this one. I don't know much about either team, to be honest with you, but I know that Marion's a strong team. You know, they're ranked number 2, like you said, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm just going to go based off schedule strength, and Marion's going to pull this one out.
Absolutely. Marion stays undefeated, 6-0. Jamie, what do you got?
I think Taylor with the upset. I think he holds a
Thanks,
special
Jamie.
place in my heart. I'm going to go with Taylor with the upset.
Okay.
And just to be an odd pick, like you said, I'm going to go with Jamie as well. We're picking Taylor for the upset today.
All right, and getting into some bigger games in the NCAA, we have got Michigan versus Wisconsin. Jam, I'm going to let you take this
we both
one.
know, everyone here knows that the Michigan Wolverines are winning that game today. The defense is going to take over.
No,
Shea
sir.
Patterson's going to throw up 300 yards, couple touchdowns. He's going to be the difference maker today.
Jonathan Taylor is going to lead that game to victory for the Wisconsin Badgers, by the way. Just FYI.
All right, so we know Derek's pick there. I'm looking at this matchup and the fact that we're in Ann Arbor. You know, I don't have too much stock in Shea Patterson. He's been a little inconsistent for my liking. But what I'm looking at is Kayvon Higdon's brother, Karan Higdon, leading the rushing attack for the Wolverines.
Shout out.
I'm going to take Michigan in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Wolverines, too. Not a huge U of M fan, also not a huge Badger fan. So I'm going to stay in the state and keep it with U of M.
Yeah, I'm going Badgers for sure. No argument there.
All right, and then to our last game. Oh, no, sorry. Last game that not LTU. We're going with Michigan State and Penn State. Derek, I know you want to talk about this. You've been craving about it all week. Go ahead.
You know, no one, like I said earlier, is giving Michigan State a chance. In Happy Valley, 100,000+, and it's going to be tough. But I think our passing game is going to take care of it. Hopefully, our play calling is going to be good, and Michigan State with the upset to get back on the national stage before we beat Michigan on our home field next week.
I'm going go green on this one because I think Michigan State can pull up the upset. They did it last year. People tend to forget that we beat Penn State last year as well. As long as we can control our penalties in this game, I think Michigan State's can hold their own this year.
It's a good point there, Jamie. They did win last year. But it's this year, and I'm going with the Nittany Lions. Penn State is looking strong this year. Trace McSorley, I love the way he plays, and I'm going to go with Penn State.
You know, Jamie, it's an interesting point. You bring up the penalties, which, you know, tying it back to Lawrence Tech, it's been an Achilles heel all season. We've seen how that can be a hurdle that you're going to have to get over. I'm not sure if Michigan State can, even as a former Spartan. I'm looking at this matchup, and as Gabe said, Trace McSorley, I love how he can run, throw on the run, get out of the pocket, keep plays alive
Elusive.
with that. He's very elusive, and to be honest with you, similar to Michigan, I'm not sure if Michigan State's defense can handle a running quarterback, even without Saquon Barkley there right now in Penn State. It's in Happy Valley. It's going to be a whiteout. I'm going to take the Nittany Lions in this matchup.
And Derek, like you said, nobody's giving Michigan State a chance. I'm not giving one either. Penn State.
All right, and finally, LTU versus Indiana Wesleyan, what everyone wants to hear about. We're going to let John, you take this one, go right ahead.
You know, all week I've been feeling a lot of questions of what I think about this game, and as I said earlier, this could go either way. On paper, you look at this rushing attack for Indiana Wesleyan. You know, they got a couple backs, both over 400 yards, both with multiple touchdowns. But that strength of Lawrence Tech is the defense, and it is the rush defense. So I'm looking at this saying defense wins championships. Defense is going to come out in the end. I think we're going to see a heck of a game here today. Definitely not a blowout, but I'm going to take Lawrence Tech in the slim victory.
That's a great pick. I'm also going to take Lawrence Tech, but not for the defensive aspect of it, because our own rushing attack, a three-headed monster. We got Mikhail Otero, Tannen Foley, and Ahmad Sabah all have over 100+ rushing yards in the game this year. Some have over 300 yards in the season, and all three are getting touches, multiple touchdowns. These guys are monsters. Coach Belfi is letting them have it every day of practice. We mic'd up him a couple weeks ago, and you can just tell that he's got his guys ready to run through a wall against this Indiana Wesleyan team.
I gotta go Lawrence Tech. I gotta go Lawrence Tech for sure. Go with home team. It's homecoming. Homecoming, guys!
Yeah!
And you guys, Indiana Wesleyan, in the same boat, first season of football, just like Lawrence Tech, and they're going to be hungry, coming into another team's field, and they're going to put up a big test. Big test. But it's Lawrence Tech's day, so we're rolling.
Let's see. Yeah! All right, Jay, what do you think?
And like you said, I mean, it is homecoming. The crowd's been great the first two games. I think we're going to have the home field advantage. Like you said, we're getting a couple thousand fans out. But unlike what they said, I think it's going to be our passing attack today. I think that's what's going to be the difference maker. LTU is winning this matchup versus Indiana Wesleyan for homecoming to take themselves to 6-0.
You know, Derek, I think you jumped the gun a little bit on putting the headgear on.
I
We
absolutely
forgot
did.
to welcome in our celebrity student picker of the day. We have a member of Phi Tau Beta with us here, Candace, to select the LTU versus Indiana Wesleyan matchup. Candace, what are your thoughts on today's game?
I gotta say LTU. I might be a little bit biased, but it's homecoming week. It's homecoming day. It's the game, and I think they're gonna win. They're gonna bring it all the way through. Our boys are gonna do great.
All right, well,
she's got the horns on today. So
She got the horns on. ready to go fired up. Thank you, Candace.
Well, that's it. That's all for us. The Blue Devils take on Indiana Wesleyan noon. Be there. We know it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a blue out. So wear blue, and we'll see you later.
Blue. Let's go.
Thank you. Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as the Blue Devils Marching Band performs the school's alma mater, the LTU hymn. At this time, we would like to thank State Champ Sports Network for its generous donation of our new flagpole in the northeast end zone. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats to honor America and those who support our freedom at home and abroad as the LTU Marching Band plays our national anthem. Veterans and those in active duty may leave their hats on while rendering the military salute. Today, we welcome members of Alpha Sigma Phi, LTU student veterans, members of the International Student Body at Lawrence Tech, and the VFW Post 2645 to present the colors.
So
We are Southfield's team. Southfield's team. Southfield's team. We are Southfield's team. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Devils leading rusher from 1946, Harry the Horse Kazanjian, this honorary captain for LTU throughout the 2018 season. He will join the team captains at midfield for today's coin toss. Team captains for the Blue Devils today, Spencer Iaquinto, Tyler Colton, Danny Max, and Cam Mitchell. The Blue Devils are led by head coach Jeff Dubendeck in his first season with LTU. Yep. Won the toss, deferred the choice in the second half. Lawrence Penn will receive the defensive console.
Hey, Dylan, you good?
Yep, you hear me? Good job.
Welcome into LTSN, another edition of Blue Devil football. Indiana Wesleyan in town. It is homecoming weekend. Indiana Wesleyan comes in at 4-1. The Blue Devils undefeated at 5-0. Greetings, everyone. I'm Jason Ross Jr. alongside Dylan Morello. Indiana Wesleyan won the kickoff and deferred to the second half. Off we go from Southfield. Kendall Williams back to return from inside his own 10. A nice little nifty move. Dropped the football. It's on the ground. Who has it? Indiana Wesleyan thinks they have it. He got out to about the 24. Now it appears as though the Blue Devils, no signal yet. Things have calmed down a bit. And Indiana Wesleyan has recovered the opening kickoff fumble. Not the way Lawrence Tech wanted to start this one, but a dream start for Indiana Wesleyan. And they'll come out and pick up the ball, Dylan, at the Blue Devil 20-yard line here.
Yeah, tough start for LTU, Jason. As we mentioned before in previous broadcasts, big game here tonight for them, as this is the homecoming game, and also not going to say the hardest opponent they played so far, but one of the opponents that's pretty matched up here with LTU. Same prestige after losing their first game. Indiana Wesleyan, they're on a 4-game winning streak, and the numbers are pretty comparable here. And right there, maybe just a little bit of pregame jitters from LTU. It is cold out here, so maybe the fingers are a little bit frozen. They have to get warmed up. But now Indiana Wesleyan has a great opportunity to get the first points on the board.
So 1st and 10 from the 25. The defense for this Blue Devil team in the backfield there, led by Danny Max, one of the leaders, part of that linebacking core. Thomas Lappin in there as well. And quarterback Zach Blair for Indiana Wesleyan, a guy who Jordan Langs thinks has poise, accuracy, his decision-making ability is on par, arm strength, and the ability to make plays not only with his arm but with his feet as well. A junior quarterback from Tip City, Ohio. He'll hand it off once again this time to Devonde Alford, the Orlando, Florida native. Carries it ahead, but just back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, LTU's defense really stepping up to the challenge early in this game. They're tested. They weren't ready to be on the field, and right now, stopping them from even gaining any yards so far. The Cats and LTU averaging only 8.6 points against per game here, Jason. So this will be a big stop here if they could hold off a touchdown and just let them get a field goal.
Now 3rd and 10 from the LTU 24. Obvious passing down situation. They go to the end zone. Tipped and incomplete. And the Blue Devils will force Indiana Wesleyan's field goal unit to come out here on 4th down.
Yeah, great defensive play there. Lawrence Tech really buying into this defensive system that they've been preaching all season. It's been a while since they've been at home, but on the road, they're a great defensive team. And they put up the points as well, as we all know, as a field goal attempt right now.
So the kick is up, and it splits the uprights from Von Guten. But a flag down. We'll see what happens here.
Trying to see what the flag is on, as no points have been added onto the board just yet. But if that one doesn't get called back, that's going to be a big confidence booster here for the Cats. Wildcats points per game, Jason, 50.2 average, and LTU's 55.6. So as I mentioned, they are pretty similar offensively, both of these teams. As that one does go up, and it's good. So 3-0 here. And not the start you wanted for, Jason, by the Blue Devils, but expect their offense now to come back with a little bit more burst of energy, as we've seen them score even on the kick returns before here at the point.
Last time we saw the Blue Devils trailing on this home field was all the way back in week 1. The self-inflicted mistakes have creeped in throughout the season, and that's really been the one dark spot of this year, all the self-inflicted mistakes, and they pop up early here against Indiana Wesleyan on the home field, but they are able to hold the Wildcats to 3, and for the second time in the first couple of minutes, the Blue Devils will return the kickoff here, coming from Von Guten. Kendall Williams back there, but he'll watch it sail on over his head.
Yeah, Jason, you're not happy with the turnover there on the first really play of the game, but for LTU, you got to take a positive out of a negative, and they're only holding them to 3. Now they get their chance for their on-fire offense to step onto the field here.
An offense led by Tyler Kolka. Chatted with him a little bit in the pregame. He's always out there in the pregame warm-ups before just about everyone. Calm, leads by example, efficient, but didn't have to do much last week. The running game took control, going for 400-plus behind a brilliant performance from the offensive line. Can this offensive line get that same support, that same push? The stakes are higher this week, and the competition is up. First snap of the game is a run going to Tanner Foley, the leading rusher on this Blue Devil football team. He'll carry it ahead for a nice gain there on first down. Looks like he picked up 5.
Yeah, LTU has that 3-headed monster in the backfield with the running game as Tanner Foley leads that, but also Otero and Sabah. As that trio really, against Trinity Bible, they got a LTU record of 387 yards on the ground, and all 3 scored multiple touchdowns that last game. So LTU, no matter who's on the field there, whoever's running the ball, they have confidence in them.
Your monitors currently say 6-0, but the score is 3-0 as a pass is complete there. Looks like they'll be just shy of the first down marker. And that should set up a 3rd and short here.
Yeah, LTU at Trinity Bible, they ran up a total of 555 yards last game. And the Devils, they took a 55-0 lead there. So we know that they have quick strike offense, Jason. And we know that they've been through adversity before, as this is just another challenge in front of the Blue Devils that they could hurdle and gain some confidence from.
3rd and 1, looking to push the pile. Did they get it here? That doesn't look like they did. Tanner Foley took the handoff. And are they going to signal to go forward here?
Bunch of the fans here. And they're going to give them the first down, Jason.
Wow.
As the chains will move. That was a 1st and inches, but they did get it, and that was a big play to keep their offense on the field here, as LTU definitely wants to either tie it or get a lead.
Indiana Wesleyan disagreed with that call, but nonetheless, a first down picked up and a big one for the Blue Devils with Kolka under center. We've seen them go to the running game twice here. We'll go back to it. Foley pushed back. Leading the way there, Brevin Baird, the sophomore from Tacoma, Indiana, stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Baird is one of those leaders on Indiana's team. They've really plays to his best ability every game. He comes out really consistent, and right there, stopping LTU's major weapon, Tanner Foley, in the backfield.
Ball in the 34 after a loss of 1. Blue Devils now in the shotgun formation here. Kolka looking over the middle, and a pass is caught, or was it dropped? They're going to say it fell out of the breadbasket. Right at the end there, looking for Terrell Cunningham across the middle, had him open, but couldn't quite hang on.
Yeah, something you're not used to seeing too much from this LTU team, not being able to hang on to the football here, Jason. I don't know if it's the weather or the nerves, as this is homecoming. A bunch of fans here. It is blue out here tonight, and it could be a bunch of the nerves or the weather, a combination of both. But LTU right now really has to, shake off the cobwebs and get going here.
Now on 3rd down and 11 from their own 34. Indiana Wesleyan with an early 3-0 lead. Kolka a little pressure, throws off his back foot and finds C.J. Thompson, but he'll be pushed back. White jerseys swarming. Blue Devils want a call for a bit of extracurricular activity. It doesn't look like they'll get that. And a nice stand there from Indiana Wesleyan. The Wildcats off to a nice start defensively here.
Yeah, the Wildcats really playing against LTU's strengths, as they did come in a day early, Jason. So they did probably watch film, studied LTU's abilities offensively, and right there just stopping them. And that's not what LTU wanted. They get the turnover and then get stopped. But you got to take and roll with the punches, and LTU right now talking it over on the sideline as that one's away.
Michael Fox back to punts and picking that one up. A nice little move from Amon Clark, the dangerous returner from Fort Wayne, Indiana. They can really utilize his speed on offense and in that special teams game. Scored a touchdown on a punt return last week. And he's a guy to look out for on their offense. But you mentioned that Indiana Wesleyan defense, Dylan. It's a defense that struggled early last week, giving up a couple of quick plays. They were beat over the top on some big plays, but they came out looking ready there, and the preparation appears to be on point for Jordan Lang's team.
Yeah, that's half the battle, Jason, the preparation. Then once you get on the field, your instincts take over. But it's good to know your opponent. It's good to know who you're up against and who you're going to be matched up and who you're playing and their strengths and weaknesses, as I'm sure LTU's defense has studied the Wildcats just as much. So they're here out tonight, and they're going to have good field position here for the defense, as Wildcats have to take in more than half the field as they're in their own end right now.
Spoke to head coach Jordan Langs early in the week, and he told me that he feels the talent at the skill positions and the ability to be balanced with an effective run game is a key part of this offense. Coming out here, Zach Blair, 8 touchdowns on the season. In the QB position, he's at the controls, and he'll take the snap here, looking for a pass that's picked off. It's Andrew Campbell, a Traverse City, Michigan native, and a big play for the Blue Devils, hopefully to turn around the early momentum here.
Great play there, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered, Jason. That's LTU's 6th interception of the season. And just like the Wildcats forced the turnover, that one by the Blue Devils, a great response. That's what you want to see. That fires up the crowd once again. And you didn't want to go 2 possessions without getting any points. And now they stop the Wildcats there. And now they're going to have a chance with great field positioning here, Jason.
Lawrence Tech looking to answer an early Indiana Wesleyan field goal. And Kolka will hand it off here to Foley. He'll motor his way ahead for a gain of 4. Campbell continuing what has been a recurring theme this season for the Blue Devil defense, forcing turnovers. They did quite a bit of that last week, and it's a group of DBs and really the defense overall that was really reading plays well last week against Trinity Bible, and they've appeared to have picked off right where they left off, hoping to lead this offense now. And so what could be some momentum brewing here for the Blue Devils. 8:57 to go here in the opening quarter. Kolka looking down the field, has a man bobbling it but catching it. Cunningham, did he hang on? He did. What a grab from Terrell Cunningham, one of Tyler Kolka's top targets this season. That was one for the highlight reel.
Great play there. Once again, LTU shaking up their run and pass game. And that is a great play, as now LTU great field positioning. They're in the red zone for the first time here tonight. And we mentioned how their offense could score, but also their defense is the last home game here, Jason. Defense got 12 points to Pitt 0.
Blue Devils have been excellent in the red zone at home this season. Once again, another first down handoff to Tanner Foley. Foley, the number 1 back in this rotation. His vision really shows on film. One of the offensive captains said it was an honor to be named a captain by his teammates. Can eclipse the 400-yard mark on the season today.
2nd and 6 here as LTU trying to keep pushing. And this will be a good confidence booster for them as early in the game, as I mentioned, you just got to roll with the punches and gain your confidence back, and they're doing that here.
4 receiver set. Kolka finds Kendall Williams, corner of the end zone, and the touchdown signals are up. Blue Devils answer Indiana Wesleyan, and they're up 6-3.
To the raucous joy of the crowd, LTU gets up in this game, and a little bit of a scare there as the balls were just coming out of the hands of the Blue Devils, but they seem to have calmed down, and right there they take the lead, and everybody on the sideline getting amped for this one, as this is a major opponent here. This is a good measuring stick for both of these teams here, Jason. And right now, LTU with a 7-3 lead.
Kolka's 15th touchdown pass of the season, and it puts the Blue Devils up 7-3 with 7:34 to play in the opening quarter. This is a team that possesses resiliency, possesses poise, and it's on display there. We saw them come back from down 22-3 on the road earlier this season at Wisconsin Lutheran, and they're able to put that early mistake in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, Kolka loves to spread the wealth as he threw for at least 3 touchdowns in each of his first 3 games. We know the type of quarterback that he is, and he's coming out here really leading his team, leading the charge. As we mentioned, a great captain and a great leader there for your Blue Devils.
A look at head coach Jeff Duvendeck there. The team traveled all the way to North Dakota last weekend, and Coach Duvendeck and the squad made a stop in Minnesota to chat with one of Coach Duvendeck's former players in Michigan State, Kirk Cousins, and that was certainly a great experience to get a word from Kirk, talk to them about how much of an opportunity it is to be a college football player. All of these players obviously in their first true season as college football athletes, and it was a great word from Kirk, obviously a former Michigan State quarterback, and Coach Duvendeck and Kirk were on that same staff that won the Capital One Bowl back in 2011 as a short kick here. It almost looked like they weren't going for an onside, but you wonder what happened there as that kick rolls. I will say it was an onside kick. It was an odd-looking onside kick that rolled just inside the Blue Devil 50, and it looks like Indiana Wesleyan will take it at about the 49 with a very good field position here.
Yeah, a little bit questionable play there, Jason, as it's early in the game and you're up, and you give the Wildcats great positioning to try to get this game evened up or even go ahead. As we mentioned, the travel for LTU last week, that was a round trip of 2,000 miles, Jason. So they went out there and they got the job done. That's a 16-hour one-way trip. As we mentioned, they made a couple pit stops, and I think talking to Kirk Cousins was a great confidence booster for this team, as it really is a privilege to be out here on this field with your brothers and be able to play the great game of football.
Certainly questionable. You wonder what happened there to have the thought of going for an onside kick. Might have not been the mentality. Here's the handoff to McKenzie, and McKenzie finds room off the left side for a first down run. About a gain of 14 there on the first down run from Joshua McKenzie.
Great run there by McKenzie, as the Wildcats, they're averaging 487 yards per game. So that's way higher than LTU's. And they also, like I mentioned before, these teams are evenly matched. They use the running game and the passing game just as much, and it showed right there as they're going to go for a run again.
Coach Langs talked to us about this balanced attack, and it's another first down run for Joshua McKenzie, a mature personality from Richwood, Texas, transfer from Monmouth College.
Yeah, already that bad field positioning given up by LTU at 2 plays, and they're already at their own 24, getting pushed back into their own end. Let's see how their defense responds, as last play they came up with an interception. So
first down from the Blue Devil 22, just outside the red zone. Now in it, running back Tyrell Phelps. 2 of 3 really good backs for Indiana Wesleyan, looking at Devontae Alford, who really heated up in the second half a week ago in their homecoming, a big win over St. Francis last week for Indiana Wesleyan in front of a huge sellout crowd, and that was Tyrell Phelps, the back out of Marion, Indiana, decided to stay home and play for Indiana Wesleyan.
Yeah, Phelps is also good. We talked about the Blue Devils' three-headed monster, but the Wildcats just have that same mentality, as any player could fill that role and be strong, as they're going to go to him again. And he'll break just past the 20-yard line, gets to about the 18 here, Jason.
Another run there. This is a matchup between a couple of first-year programs that will join the Mid-States Football Association next season. You could rightfully so consider this to be the biggest, the most notable game on the schedule for Lawrence Tech, going up against a team that could possibly be a rival down the road. This is one of two matchups between these teams this year. They'll meet up again on the final day of the regular season. That'll be a 1 p.m. kick down in Marion. But for now, it's 3rd and 5 on the Blue Devil home field. Homecoming atmosphere. Zach Blair. He'll take the snap, and once again the handoff, and the line was ready that time for the Blue Devils. Looks like Jalen Smith was in there, and Indiana Wesleyan did come up short.
They might be going for it here, Jason.
Could it be an early, possible risky decision from Jordan Langs? A gutsy decision with under 5 to play in the first. Blue Devils answered back the early field goal off the fumble on the kickoff. Here's Zach Blair, a little bit of room. He can run, but he throws here. Flag is down.
And that's going to be incomplete.
Yep. Intended there for Caleb Kelly, a part of this good receiving core. They threw a pass to Braden Smith on the last drive that was picked off. He's one of their top targets. Haven't heard much from him early here.
As they're trying to figure out what that flag was, Jason, but definitely flags have been LTU's Achilles heel. They remained to be the Achilles heel, and they committed 47 penalties for a total of 580 yards throughout 3 games. So as we mentioned, the last home game, just a lot of stops and starts, a lot of flags, a lot of whistles, as we're going to see who that first flag of the game was on. And it looked like it would be against the Wildcats, so LTU will take over possession here down in their own end. But another great defensive play as the last 2 drives for the Wildcats stomped out easily.
To the delight of this Blue Devil crowd on homecoming Saturday. With under 5 to play now in the first, LTU will take over at their own 23. They've really done a nice job of putting the early mistake in the rearview mirror, fumbled on the opening kickoff. Kolka 4 for 5 so far. They go back to Foley. They've gone to him quite a bit early on. Looking for the sideline. He might have picked up about 4 there.
Good stiff arm there by Foley to the delight of his own teammates as he tries to break that tackle, but that's all you need. Just nice little runs, get the feet into it, get the legs moving, and everybody will follow in suit.
Picked up 9 rather, and that'll bring up 2nd and 1. One of these situations where you can really do just about anything offensively. Offensive coordinator Keith Beckham has done a really nice job this year. They'll go to the passing game. Kolka hit as he throws, but a man streaking downfield. Big play. Came out at the end there, but they're going to say he was down. Kolka finds Cunningham for a gain all the way down inside the Indiana Wesleyan 30.
Perfect play there, Jason, as we were kind of worried that LTU was starting in their own end, but just with 2 plays, they're all the way down to our left. And Kolka, man, what a gun he has, even with pressure. He had 2 Wildcats on him. He got hit too and still got that ball off. Just a standing play.
Now here's Foley pushing ahead, open space, and inside the 5.
Foley, I just love how he reads the field so well. He knows where his blockers are, where the holes are, where are the gaps, and he takes it with confidence and poise, and he has the legs to carry him. As that one gets to the 5 here, we got 3:03 remaining in this first quarter. LTU trying to extend that lead.
So a 51-yard pass from Kolka to Cunningham and a Tanner Foley run inside the 5 now will set up this 1st and goal situation. Foley bottled up that time.
Tanner Foley, the ball's moving.
LTU averaging about 200 passing yards per game here. So that's going to help that average as they've really spread the wealth. And they're coming off a great win at Trinity Bible as well. They built their confidence. And I think every game is just a confidence builder for this team. As you know, next year, all the teams they play are going to be pretty much their same level here, Jason. So no days off for this Blue Devil team, and they're treating this season just as much as this opponent right now, the Wildcats, playing pretty strong.
This is a good test early. Foley, looks like his helmet came off there. Got down to about the 2-yard line. The 2nd down and goal run.
Yeah, LTU trying to punch it in here as the goal line defense for the Wildcats, very strong. As we saw in their last game against St. Francis, just barely pulling out a win, 35-34. But their defense had to carry them that game just as much as their offense. And right now, trying to hold LTU to just a field goal, it's going to be a tough task. As that offensive line, as we preached in prior weeks, Jason, really strong for the Blue Devils. They're going to have to come up big here.
Just over a minute to play in the opening quarter. Blue Devils looking to extend their lead inside the 5. Kolka will roll, he'll throw, and looking for that same corner of the end zone. That time couldn't quite find Nick Spawn. With under a minute to play, we'll see if the field goal unit comes out here. And they will.
Yeah, LTU is 9-11, going for it on 4th down this season.
That is a spectacular stat.
82%. So let's see what they do here. It looks like they will just be going for the points. But yeah, they will be going for the field goal, Jason. But that's an amazing stat. That is way above average. And that just shows the confidence that the offensive coaches have in this team to get it done. And it is up. And splits the uprights there as LTU takes a 10-3 lead. 54 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
So the Blue Devils went down 3-0 early, but now 10 in a row here on LTSN. It's a pleasure to have you back with us for this homecoming game. Our 3rd of 4 football broadcasts this season. You can watch us live on Facebook, the LTU Athletics Facebook channel, and the LTU Athletics YouTube channel. I'm Jason Ross Jr., joined by Dylan Morello this week. This Blue Devil team trying to stay perfect at home. They are currently 5-0 on the season after last week's win. And what a year this could be if they could continue this run and really make some noise despite these games not having any kind of implications for this season. That'll happen next year when both of these teams join the MSFA.
Yeah, Lawrence Tech, I mean, they're just breaking records all throughout this season. They set a new program record, not just for consecutive wins, Jason, for also points in a single game. And just this whole year, just history-filled and really special. You just love the atmosphere. Love what they bring every Saturday evening.
Joshua McKenzie on the return there sets up some more favorable field position for Indiana Wesleyan here. It got out to almost the 45. Looks like they're going to mark them at about the 45-yard line, where this Indiana Wesleyan offense will jog out for the third time in this opening quarter with just under a minute to play. A 10-3 Blue Devil lead.
Yeah, right now not winning the field position battle versus the Wildcats, as the Wildcats really getting favorable every drive.
Alford. Looks like about a gain of 3 there. This is an LTU team, and you mentioned the offense, Dylan. 3 weeks in a row now where they've broken the school record for scoring. That's a pretty fantastic line, putting up 68 last week on Trinity Bible. 55-zip first half.
Yeah, that's just a crazy stat, unhuman. But you know it's not going to be that easy going down the road. So I think it's good now to get your offensive guys some points, pad their stats, if you will, because the rest of the season and the rest of the games for next is going to be very, very tough, as that's the end of the first quarter here.
So third down for Indiana Wesleyan when we come back on LTSN. 10-3 Blue Devils, 10 unanswered after an early fumble on the kickoff. We'll be back here on LTSN for more homecoming action from the LTU athletic field. Welcome back to LTSN. Blue Devils with a 7-point lead into the second quarter. 3rd and 6 here for Zach Blair and the Indiana Wesleyan offense. Over the middle, he finds a man. It's the freshman tight end, Tyler Thomas, pushing a pile for a first down and more.
Yeah, Thomas is a big body there as 5 LTU players try to surround him. He gains like a couple extra yards, but a good play there by the Wildcats as they're trying to even the score.
So an 18-yard gain there for Indiana Wesleyan gets them to the Blue Devil 34. Second straight possession with a really good field position. They were stopped on 4th down the last time we saw them. Blair steps up, but takes a big hit there from Thomas Lappin. Coach Duvendek said in our podcast earlier this week that Thomas was everywhere last week, and that's why he was named Special Teams MVP. Leads this team with 18 tackles on the season. Thomas Lappin making his name felt once again.
Yeah, right there. LTU sends the blitz as dodging out of the way, bobbing and weaving past one, but then Lappin with the big booming hit, and that's going to make the Wildcats have to step back a little bit and resurvey the field.
And ball is loose, but they're going to mark it down as Blair takes another big hit. Esterly in the backfield.
Blair gets destroyed there. Huge body contact as LTU bringing the blitz once again. And that's going to take care of business, putting the seeds of doubt there and the quarterback for the Wildcats, as he was a little bit slow to get up. Had to fix his shoulder pad there, and that's going to pay dividends going forward in this game.
That sets up 3rd and 11 from the Blue Devil 34. This Blue Devil defensive line starting to feel it. They go deep looking that time for Amon Clark, but leads him far, and Indiana Wesleyan will have to punt here.
Last 3 drives, 3 stops for your Lawrence Tech defense, and that's just bearing down. They're really committed to the play, and I just love the compete they're showing so far in this game.
For whatever reason, it feels like this Blue Devil defense finds a way to settle into games. They come out right from the get-go, but we've seen them in the past kind of settle into games, and it appears as though they have done that here, and this offense has settled in over the past couple of possessions. It'll be Cam Mitchell back to return here, a threat, a returning punt. Still no Kavan Higdon for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Jason, not only settle themselves into the game, but also settle the team. As you saw, the game started rough for the Blue Devils. They had a turnover, and they get a field goal against them, but the defense came out, they settled the play, they calmed it down, they had a few stops, they got that interception, and I think it just settled not only the team and themselves, but also the fans here up in the stands.
Dylan and I arrived this morning. Smell of barbecue was in the air. Leaves were changing colors. Air was crisp. Feels like football out here, and the Blue Devils looking to continue their role.
Yeah, definitely football weather, and that just feeds into the great atmosphere that LTU has brought to the university this season. And LTU starting back in their own end once again.
Back-to-back scores, but now backed up at their own goal line, and it'll be Kolka keeping it. We don't see that very often from Kolka, but decides to run it there and picks up about 3.
Yeah, he's not a pocket quarterback by any means, but he loves to, find the play in front of him and just gain his team yards. So whether it be with his arm, with his running backs, or with his own legs, he finds a way to get the chains moving for the Blue Devils no matter what it takes, and the coaching staff loves that, I'm sure.
Kolka, the QB, 6'2", out of Clinton Township, Michigan. Such a great story. Captain, cerebral player. They go with a little play action. Kolka had it stripped out of his hands, and it looks like Indiana Wesleyan has pounced on it. Second fumble that will favor Indiana Wesleyan. Looks like it was picked up that time. And Justin Brown, 214 out of Greenville, Ohio. And the Wildcats will set up shop at the Blue Devil 10.
Yeah, Brown comes in and rips that out of his hand like a lollipop, as right now the Wildcats buzzing over there on their sideline. And once again, Jason, they get excellent field position. That's not what you wanted for the Blue Devils. They're struggling right now just to keep the ball in their hands, trying to minimize those turnovers here in this game, as it's been a struggle. Let's see if the defense could come out once again and calm their team.
Under pressure here. Here's the snap to Tyrell Phelps, looking for room. Nice tackle out there, both getting in the open field. Lappin and Max did a nice job, as it appeared as though initially Phelps had plenty of room, but after a gain of 2, he was sealed off.
Yeah, Phelps had nothing there, as the Blue Devil defense finds a way once again to pinch at the point of attack, and they only get him to a gain of 2. So let's see what happens, as the Wildcats held the Blue Devils off at the goal line last quarter, only allowing them to get a field goal. Let's see if the Blue Devils could do just the same to at least keep this game in their hands.
Defensive line really getting a nice push over these last couple of plays, and there is Braden Smith at 6'4", climbing the ladder and hauling in a touchdown pass. Blue Devils want offensive pass interference, but it doesn't look like they're going to get that.
Yeah, I saw that play too, Jason, as he kind of pushed the defender out of his way before snagging that ball out of midair. Tall guy, as you mentioned, picking cherries up high. And if this extra point is good, it'll be a tie ball game here.
We expected a good one coming in. Braden Smith, 5 touchdown catches on the season. Now came in with a team-leading 421. That kick is blocked, and now they'll try to take it back here. Out across the 50 to the 30. Crowd on their feet, and the Blue Devils turn that around in their favor. Looks like Andrew Campbell.
And we have a bunch of flags once again, as we saw in that last game against Pitt. I think it was a record of 6 touchdowns called back, Jason. And right there, if LTU pulls that off once again, it is the defense and special teams that carry this team to victory. And we're going to see where they're going to place the ball here, as the points have not been added on the scoreboard. But man, oh man, how momentum changes in games. Nah, you just love to see it.
Personal foul against Lawrence Tech.
And it's going to be a personal foul on the return against LTU, so that will be called back here.
Personal fouls have creeped in quite a bit this year. We saw that especially at Eastern Michigan.
As a couple fans wanting to take that one back here.
So, no points, but the kick obviously still was blocked, and that keeps a 1-point Blue Devil lead with 11:19 to play here in the second quarter. And now they'll receive the kickoff.
Ben Van Gunten on to kick for Indiana Wesleyan.
So yeah, at least that play energized the crowd and energized the team, as now their offense is going to get back underway here with another drive. And they're going to look to extend the lead even more, as they're only up by 1 as we speak.
Blue Devils find themselves in a tight one, really for the first time in a few weeks. And catching this one at his own 10, it's C.J. Thompson, and he'll bring that out to the 35.
LTU once again using every position, special teams, defense, offense, to pull out wins and pull out big plays. And right there, unfortunately, another touchdown called back. But expect a big push right now by this offense, as we have 11:10 remaining here in the first half.
Polka looking to regroup, 5 for 7 on the day for 93 yards and a touchdown, but a fumble on the last drive. He was stripped, didn't see the man coming from behind. On a short route there, he finds Nick Spawn, and it looks like a gain of 6.
Yeah, both teams really using the blitz to their advantage and getting in on the quarterback fast. As we mentioned in prior games and all throughout this season, the offensive line for the Blue Devils has been one of their great strengths, but right now, having a little bit of struggle.
Ahmad Sabaw now in at running back, and he's hit hard in the backfield. A nice play there by Brevin Baird, who's gotten off to a really nice start in this one. That sophomore DB from Tacoma. Blue Devils still up 10-9. Sabaw was spectacular a week ago. He became the third back to hit the 100-yard mark this season for Lawrence Tech. 3 running backs, and they've all hit 100 yards through 5 games. Sabaw absolutely went off last week. Really the bigger back, the more physical back of the group.
Yeah, Sabaw is the big head on that 3-headed monster, as we mentioned earlier in the show. And once again, you just love how LTU has so many players that fill so many roles. Everyone is just as versatile as the other one, as he gets the ball again, but will be stomped there right in the backfield.
Consecutive losses now for the LTU offense, looking to get Sabaw involved. That time they faked it to Cunningham, then dumped it off to Ahmad, but nothing doing there, and a quick 3-and-out will force the 4th down punt here.
Yeah, Blue Devils really getting tested in this game. I'm going to be really intrigued, Jason, throughout the rest of this game to see how they respond. See how they respond about everything, either getting touchdown scored against them, getting stopped, having to punt. Their response is going to be key, and also their emotions on the bench, but also on the field is going to be a big test here for these Blue Devils as they're facing adversity really for the first time this season.
Indiana Wesleyan had a little pressure on that punt. This one will hop, and they'll jump on it there at the Indiana Wesleyan 31, and that is where Zach Blair will come out once again. A lot of intensity on the sidelines. The pressure is notably up. It's palpable. We see Tyler Kolka down there talking to his group of guys. Both, see Keith Beckham over there chatting with the O-line, the running backs, and Coach Duvendek in the mix as well. The intensity is up. The stakes are up. This feels a bit different than the last few opponents for LTU.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The buildings and makings of a rivalry here, Jason. I'm excited to see it. As we said, this is the first of 2 games, as they're really going to have a home-and-home. They play in the last game of the season, this same Wildcat team versus this same Blue Devil team. That's going to be November 17th, and that's going to be an exciting matchup because whoever wins this one, you know they're going to come into that game even more amped up.
Indiana Wesleyan picking up the tempo a little bit here. Now they'll look to the sideline. Offensive coordinator Eric Taranzas in his 2nd season.
Tempo has really been brought up here as it is a fast game.
Blue Devils expecting run again there, and Larson finished it off along with Max and Lappin over there. They went to McKenzie, and that'll set up 3rd down and what appears to be an obvious passing situation.
Yep, so let's see if LTU's defense could get a 4-and-out here, or force a 4-and-out, as that'll be huge, as LTU definitely wants to extend this lead before the half. You don't want to go into the locker room feeling a team nipping at your heels. So it's very vital for LTU to get up there.
Under 8 to play. Larson applied the pressure, and he might have forced that incompletion. Mitchell was in on the coverage, and that'll set up 4th down. And Dylan, they pick up that stop that you just mentioned.
Yeah, exactly what they needed here, as that energizes everybody. Defense is just as vital to the game of football as offense. You win games, you win championships by having good defense and offenses that just follow suit. And right now, I've been preaching it all year, Jason, this is the look and feel of a championship team here down the road.
60 yards of total offense for the Indiana Wesleyan offense so far. That punt was nearly blocked. Both teams getting pressure on the punts as Iaquinto will watch that one roll out of bounds, and they'll bring it out at the 25. 7:25 to play here in the first half. A 1-point game on LTSN.
Ball will be spotted around the 25-yard line. First down, Lawrence Tech.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was a great play defensive stop-wise as well, Jason, excuse me, but it was the first time I've seen LTU's defense being able to start in Indiana Wesleyan's end zone area and their side of the field, as usually the Wildcats really had great positioning on all their first 5 drives of the game. So that time is big, and LTU now transitioning back to offense.
Little Wildcat formation there with Cam Jamison set up, and appears as though they picked up 2. This is an LTU offense that had a season high 555 yards last week. That long trip to Ellendale, North Dakota didn't appear to give them too much of a jet lag in any way. They came out running. Big physical back, Ahmad Sabah in there once again on 2nd and 8. Boca looking for Kendall Williams. Flag was thrown. Williams was pushed out of bounds. Easy call there. And the Blue Devils will pick up a first down here.
Yeah, perfect flag there as the ref finally gives a call LTU's way, as they're going to gain a ton of yards. And it seems like they're going to place the ball here at around the 40.
Pass interference against the Wildcats.
There is the official pass interference call.
Automatic first down.
Yep, automatic first down. The ball will be placed at the 39.
Ball spotted at the 40-yard line.
LTU has really jumped on teams early the past few weeks and really throughout this season. Feels like from the first play, like we saw the last time we were here dealing against Pitt. But today was a little different. They came out, fumbled the opening kickoff. Indiana Wesleyan put up 3. Now we find ourselves in a 10-9 ball game with Kolka at the controls. 6:41 to play on a stopped second quarter clock.
Yeah, it felt a little bit different here, Jason, in the booth. Just like the type of atmosphere and the type of game you expect or start you expect from the Blue Devil team. So I was a little bit in shock. So I can't imagine there on the bench what they were feeling. As also the coin toss, the Wildcats deferred. So you're excited. You get to go on offense first, showing what you could do, and they fumble that right away and give up some points. But love their response as they are up 10-9 here. Could have been a tie game, but a great extra point block that was ran all the way to the touchdown, but called back, unfortunately, on a flag.
Versteeg did a nice job on that last play of getting off his block. Can Kolka get some time here? He will, and he throws, but a little long that time for Cam Jamison. One of the many targets he can really go to with this offense, but that'll set up 3rd down now.
Yeah, after being stripped of that ball, Kolka's been a little bit rusty, a little bit shaky. I don't know if that's something just mental-wise, as his throws have been a little bit gunned too far or too short of his receivers here. As it looks like they're going to be going for it here on, it's 3rd down, my bad, but Kolka, let's see if he could respond here.
Indiana Wesleyan shows pressure and brings pressure. Flag down. Cunningham over the middle, catches the pass, but what will the flag be?
I saw a little bit of a false start there by the Wildcats. Maybe offsides. Let's see.
Under 6 to play now. Possibly a big possession here for the Blue Devils. Awaiting the call.
Illegal motion. Offense. Number 20. That penalty is declined. Result for play is a 4th down.
An illegal motion on Tanner Foley that was declined to set up 4th down. And an obvious punting situation for Lawrence Tech to now possibly set up a big possession for Indiana Wesleyan going the other way.
Yeah, so LTU cannot extend this lead. And the defense is up to another challenge, as you definitely want to go into the locker room with the lead, with the confidence. And right now, just once again, another hurdle, another adversary for the Blue Devils to have to face. And it's a tough challenge. This game is going to be a tough one, and it's going to go down to the wire. That's what it looks like so far.
Joshua McKenzie back to receive Brad Gibson's punt at the 27, and a fair catch called. And that is where the Wildcat offense will set up once again with 5:11 to play here in the opening half. A 1-point ball game in favor of the Blue Devils right now.
At the 26-yard line, first down.
Yeah, so LTU, you know, they're used to pitching goose eggs, if you will, as, you know, they shut out Pittsburgh and also Eastern Michigan, and then Trinity Bible, they got one score on them.
Yeah, finally gave up a touchdown last week. It was a crazy stat, the length of how long they went without giving up a touchdown. It was the one blemish. Coach Duvendek felt that, you know, maybe the focus kind of wavered a bit when they went up 61-zip, but now they find themselves in a much tighter game. They get the pressure here once again. Now in the backfield, Braden Smith. It'll be a tall task to do anything there, and he won't be able to do anything in the backfield. Blue Devil defense coming up with a stop for about a loss of 2 there.
Yep, defense up to the challenge once again. They're being called on a lot in this game, as a ton of couple 4-and-outs for each team, but both defenses really playing strong here. You got to give them credit.
Braden Smith caught the touchdown pass that has us where we are now, 10-9. Indiana Wesleyan could have tied it had they converted on the extra point that was blocked. Now they go down the sideline again for Smith. He's a target that we'll call quite a bit tonight this afternoon, but this will set up now 3rd and long on a quick pass there, incomplete. Possibly a miscommunication on the route there.
Yep, so now LTU's defense goes to work, as you know, Jason, their defense and special teams have combined to score more touchdowns than all of the Blue Devils' opponents this season. They have 7. The Blue Devil opponents have 6, as that one was also could be tied, actually, as the Wildcats did get 1 here. But outstanding stat for the Blue Devil defense, as look to cause another turnover here.
Esterly applying pressure, but it's Braden Smith across the middle. It's the crosser, and he's out to the 45. That's a gain of 21 for Braden Smith. Tall target, used his speed that time. Could have been a big stop for the Blue Devils with under 5 to play in the first half, but Indiana Wesleyan turns that play around in their favor.
Yeah, Indiana Wesleyan, man, this is the strongest team that I've seen the Blue Devils play this year, and it's going to be a tough challenge, as this is the teams next year when they do get into actual conference play. It's going to be tough.
Down the sideline, that time they go to Smith again, and he draws a pass interference call.
Yeah, so one just called on that last drive for LTU, goes LTU's way. Now it's going the Wildcats' way, and that's going to be an automatic first down once again.
As this storyline continues to develop, Braden Smith, his role as anticipated coming in, continues to develop. No Jalen Smith in right now for the Blue Devils. He's on the sideline getting checked out, one of the key defensive backs on this Blue Devil team, and we'll see if that could possibly play a role. He's a guy who's really come on. Here's the pass interference call.
15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic.
So 15 yards. This looks like it'll take it down all the way inside the Blue Devil 35.
First down, Indiana Wesleyan.
Sets up 1st and 10 for Indiana Wesleyan with 3:55 to play here in the second quarter.
Yeah, Jalen Smith was getting his shoulder checked there, Jason, but just got word, and he's cleared by the trainers. He's back out there.
So from the Blue Devil 39, pushing ahead there was Devondae Alvord, the Orlando, Florida running back with 5 touchdowns on the season. He picks up a nice gain there to the 34. And the tempo is up here for Indiana Wesleyan and Zach Blair. They go back to Alford, trying to motor his way. Brought down ankle high that time. Looks like Zachary Brown made the initial hit. Looking to the sideline for these calls now. Blue Devils haven't seen much of this up-tempo offense this year from the opponents they've played. We'll see if that can play a role.
Yeah, no huddle for the Wildcats. They're really just playing to their speed, to their advantage, and that's causing some miscommunication. Players have to run quickly on and off the field, as right there. And we get a whistle.
And it looks like they're going to have to use a timeout. That tempo is playing a role now intensity building, drama building. 3:02 to play in the opening half of a 1-point game here on LTSN. Can the Blue Devils settle down and come up with a big stop here as we wind down the first half?
Raise your hands, Blue Devil Nation.
Welcome back to LTSN, a 10-9 game. Lawrence Tech with the lead and 3:02 to play in the opening half. Tempo has affected them a bit over these past couple of plays, but that time out of the timeout, that defensive line that has defended the run so well all year long comes up with the stop there to set up fourth down. Now what will Indiana Wesleyan decide to do? Is the offense staying out on the field here with 2:41 to play and rolling? 2 timeouts left for Lawrence Tech. Indiana Wesleyan has all 3.
Yeah, that was a great timeout call there by the Blue Devils coaching staff as it settled down their defense, and now the fans, everybody buzzing on this fourth down.
Tyler Kolka pumping up the fans. Zach Blair looking over the middle. Thomas Lappin, but a flag thrown late. There's a big pass interference call earlier in this drive. What do we have here with 2:15 to play in the first half?
And this is going to be one of those game-changing calls. When you look back on games, seeing the turning point in them, this could be one of them here, Jason.
Wow, now 4 penalties for 35 yards for Lawrence Tech, along with 2 fumbles on the day. Those have been the self-inflicted mistakes. And Blue Devil fans certainly don't like that one, but it will advance Indiana Wesleyan closer to the red zone. They'll set up shop now at the 27 as this drive continues to methodically move forward. Now with 2:15 on the first half clock. A big drive here. And Dylan, as you mentioned, one that you could possibly look back on and say, okay, what if this went that way, or what if it went the other way?
Yeah, definitely not what you hope for, Jason, as time winding down here in this second half, but a good stop once again. And as we mentioned in all the previous games, these self-inflicted plays or penalties and turnovers, that's what's causing the Blue Devils a little bit of struggle. But they've always had a good response, and I expect that from them here once again, as they are getting pushed into their own end. But the Blue Devil defense have been stout all season and throughout this game as it is low scoring.
They fake the run and go to the pass for Braden Smith. It's a first down into the red zone inside the 15 there.
Yeah, right there they bite hard, the Blue Devil defense, on that fake run. And they lost coverage there on the far right side.
Gain of 14 for Braden Smith. They'll place it at the 11-yard line. 80 seconds to go here in the first half. Indiana Wesleyan, you wonder, maybe not worrying so much about time now with all 3 timeouts. Down 1.
Tough, too, because the Wildcats get the ball to start the second half. So it's going to be tough for the Blue Devils. They need to stop them here.
Looking to stretch this out here. Amon Clark diving for the end zone. Looking for the pylon, and he got it. It's Clark. his second touchdown of the season, and Indiana Wesleyan takes the lead on a drive that was moved forward by a couple of big pass interference calls, and it's now 15-10 with a chance to make it 16-10 with 52 seconds left on the clock. Still some time for LTU, but a big drive there and one to certainly look back on when this game is over.
Yeah, definitely, Jason. And right now, LTU treading in pretty much uncharted waters as they've only been trailing after half one game. They did end up winning that one as that was their big comeback win. But right now, this looks very, very tough as only against Wisconsin Lutheran did they trail at the half. They have 52 seconds here, though, Jason, to maybe get a quick drive downfield. Let's see what field positioning they could get here on this kick.
So this has been the tight matchup that we expected coming in. A beautiful 50-degree day. Sun is out. Fans are out. But the Blue Devils find themselves trailing at home, perhaps going into the second half for the first time. A look there at a very animated conversation going on. 16-10 Indiana Wesleyan lead. Blue Devils looking to pump some life into the crowd and into the offense. They'll return the kickoff here. This game started out with a fumbled kickoff return that set Indiana Wesleyan up for the opening field goal. That followed by 10 consecutive points from Lawrence Tech, and now Indiana Wesleyan has responded with 13 in a row unanswered of their own. And here we go. And it's Kendall Williams. Will he take this one off a couple of hops? He will. From inside his own 10, looking for space and gets out past the 25.
Looked to almost be gone there. Kind of just got a couple fingers on his cleat, tripped him up. But pretty nice field positioning here. LTU's going to start at around the 35-ish. Yeah, 30, right at the 35. Or, excuse me, 27, my bad. And the Blue Devils, you know, big crowd here. They should have the energy all the way up. And it's going to be a big drive here as they know possession goes right back to the Wildcats to start the second half.
So Tyler Kolka, 8 for 11 on the day. Finds C.J. Thompson there. Nice little grab, contorting his body and going down low there. Blue Devils with 2 timeouts and 39 seconds left on the first half clock. First time we've seen the Blue Devils in a spot like this. That was a first down catch for 11. Now back in the shotgun they go, and back to Kolka they go. Looking and reading that pass well there was Adam Shantz, the linebacker from Anderson, Indiana. Clock will stop there at 27.
Yeah, right there. LTU trying that fast tempo play. They got them. They have to call a timeout. They're trying that on the Wildcats, and they really need to, as you mentioned, Jason. 27 seconds remaining here in the first half.
Dylan, you wonder if inexperience in situations like this could play a role here. The Blue Devils, at the end of the day, this is a learning season. And they haven't had to learn much in situations like this so far. But here we are, 27 seconds to play in the first half. Down 6. Blue Devils still on their own side of the 50. It's Kolka looking, throwing. Cunningham dropped it. Wow, that's something that you don't see very often. Over the middle. Cunningham couldn't quite hang on, and clock stops once again.
Man, Cunningham right there, all alone, no one on him. Only had to put the ball right into his hands, and that one off his chest and bounces on the turf as, yeah, Jason, you just said it. This is a tough challenge for the Blue Devils. They haven't had to face it all season. And I don't know if it's overconfidence or what they have right now, but something right now is eating at them, and this game is getting out of their own hand. And that one will be incomplete once again.
Looking that time for Thompson. Cunningham had room, too, on that pass over the middle. You wonder if perhaps that creeped into his mind a little bit, looking to do maybe a bit too much in a situation like this. And once again, going back to what could possibly be the inexperience in a situation like that, Dylan. Pressure-packed going down the stretch here in the end of the first half, but still just a 6-point game. The Blue Devils will have to punt this one away. Joshua McKenzie back at his own 32-yard line here.
Yeah, Wildcats still going to have some time, too, to try to get some extra points here before the half. depending on how this punt goes.
This is a Wildcat team that hit a few quick strikes. That snap momentarily Bobble had to scoop it up off the artificial turf. And this punt will roll down. Still got away a pretty decent punt despite the initial obstacle. And that'll leave 9 seconds on the clock in the opening half. 16-10 Indiana Wesleyan. Offense coming out here. Not much time to work with, though.
Yeah, right now just seeing a lot of stuff LTU is not used to seeing. We're seeing turnover, we're seeing fumbles, we're seeing quick strikes, quick plays, quick line, going up to the line for the Wildcats. And right now just the Blue Devils have to find their rhythm. They haven't found it yet. It's not used to what we're seeing here up in the booth or what the fans are used to seeing. And it's not used to what the coaching staff is seeing as of the moment. So it's going to be a big, big second half for your Blue Devils. As they got 9 seconds right now, the Wildcats do, to try to get some yardage.
McKenzie. Gain of 9, and that will do it for the opening half of play. A big touchdown at the end of the half to make it 16-10 in favor of Indiana Wesleyan. They march down the field. Amon Clark scores his second touchdown of the season. Couple of key momentum shifts. A fun first half, a tight one as anticipated here on LTSN. We'll be back at the end of the half. More action coming up on LTSN. 16-10 Indiana Wesleyan going into the locker room.
Ladies and gentlemen, coaches around the country have joined forces to support the Coach to Cure MD program. All the LTU coaches today are wearing patches on their sleeves to raise awareness for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. To donate $10 to Coach to Cure MD, text the word CURE, C-U-R-E, to 50555. Once again, to make a $10 donation to Coach to Cure MD, text the word CURE, C-U-R-E, to 50555. You can also visit CoachToCureMD.org to make a donation. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the heart and soul of Lawrence Tech's campus, the LTU Blue Devils Marching Band. Today's show, Start the Legacy, features music with titles relating to building a legacy. Our legacy starts with respect for the university, and any legacy needs occasional luck. So knock on wood. As we build our legacy, you can't read our poker face. So get ready, because the legacy starts now. hands together for your Lawrence Tech Marching Band. And as our anthem, we want to send a very big happy birthday to Angelica Capozelli of the LTU Marching Band. Happy birthday, Angelica. Welcome back to the field, the LTU dance team. This homecoming weekend, we are mixing things up with our guy and girl dance.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Today on Scout Airlines. We hope you enjoyed your flight. We hit terminus!
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to give a big shout out to the mascot from Jimmy John's Field, home of the United Shores Baseball League and home of your LTU baseball team. For over a week, several student organizations competed in the annual Homecoming Student Organization Challenge. Organizations competed in a window decorating, powder puff, trivia night, male cheerleading, among others. This year's winning organization is Kappa Beta Gamma and Sigma Phi Epsilon. Together as they raise the trophy. The 2018 reboot season for Lawrence Tech football is brought to you by Michigan First Credit Union. Michigan First offers a full range of financial products and services, including checking accounts, mobile deposit, student loans, and car loans. Visit MichiganFirst.com for details. From injury prevention to leading-edge treatment, no one sees the whole athlete like Haley Ford Sports Medicine. Not just orthopedics, but a full team of sports specialists. The only team in Michigan with every member part of an interconnected group No one offers more ways to get your body working in perfect harmony. Appointments within 24 business hours. Call 313-972-4216 or go to henryford.com/sports. Ladies and gentlemen, visit McVee's of Southfield on Telegraph Road for Burger Night every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to midnight. Find our happy hour specials, menus, and more at mcvees.com or follow us on Facebook. At Outback Steakhouse, we live by Aussie rules. And Aussie rule number 1 is ensuring steak satisfaction every time. We offer the highest quality cuts of steak, seasoned and seared to perfection with a secret blend of 17 herbs and spices and cooked just the way you like it. So, join us tonight at Outback Steakhouse located on Greenfield Road or visit outback.com. Get highlights, interviews, and breakdowns of all your favorite sports here at Lawrence Tech on the new LTU Sports Report. Watch the Blue Devils participating in the NAIA's WHAC and MSFA conferences on Fox Sports Detroit every Monday night at 4:30 p.m. preceding the University of Michigan and Michigan State University Sports Reports. Once again, it's the LTU Sports Report on Fox Sports Detroit every Monday at 4:30. What a chance to intermingle with the coaches and some of the players. Well, listen to Coach Jeff Duveneck, myself, Warren Plant, the staff, student athletes, and guests break down the action on the LTU Football Coaches Show. This podcast is recorded live every Tuesday night throughout the season at Shields Pizza in Southfield. The broadcast begins at 7. The fun lasts much longer. Stay up to date with all of Lawrence Tech's varsity sports at LTUathletics.com. Find out news, schedules, and scores all in one place, or download the convenient app, Lawrence Tech Athletics, on the App Store.
Are you riding? Taking the left beside me. 'Cause I want you and I need you. And I'm down for you always, baby. Do you love me? Are you riding? Taking the left beside me. 'Cause I want you and I need you.
Welcome back into LTSN. Second half of action coming up. Indiana Wesleyan opted to give LTU the football to open up the game, so they'll receive here. A couple of key momentum shifts in the first half. An LTU interception that led to a touchdown, and then a drive for Indiana Wesleyan to help them take the lead. A couple of pass interference calls that this Blue Devil crowd did not like, but favored the Wildcats, and off we go once again. A big second half coming up in a 6-point game. Blue Devils undefeated at 5-0. Indiana Wesleyan comes in at 4-1, having won 4 in a row. Back here with Dylan Morello, I'm Jason Ross Jr. This Indiana Wesleyan offense looking to pick up right where they left off.
Yeah, I'm excited here, Jason, in the second half to see what LTU cooked up in the locker room, see their little in-game adjustments, and also what the Wildcats have done in-game adjustments, as right now they do have that lead, but you know LTU's offense is strong. They're going to push back just as hard, and it's going to be a great second half here, and it's a nail-biter already. Can't imagine as the game winds down how exciting this one's going to be.
Well, here we go. The ground game to start out with Joshua McKenzie. And McKenzie had a nice first half, 35 yards on the ground, carried the ball 5 times. Indiana Wesleyan really mixed it around with their running back trio in that first half, going to Devontae Alford 8 times. That looks like, let's see how many they picked up there. Player down for the moment. And Zachary Brown on that last tackle. We'll be right back. An injury timeout here on LTSN. 16 seconds into the second half of action. Welcome back to LTSN. It was a 123-yard first half for Indiana Wesleyan. The Blue Devil defense only giving up 105 on the season. Obviously a different task today, and it's evident in the numbers as Indiana Wesleyan goes to the passing game here. Looking down that sideline for Braden Smith, covered by Cam Mitchell. What a matchup over there. We'll look to see them go head-to-head in this second half. Mitchell and Smith over there.
Yeah, Mitchell loves having those one-on-one battles. He prides himself in taking up big challenges. And all throughout this week, his coaching staff was preaching to everyone that this is going to be a big game. This is the type of players you're going to see here down the road in the future. And he's stepping up to the challenge so far.
3rd and 10. Going down the seam. It's picked off, and it's Andrew Campbell.
And a great interception there. The second of the night for your Lawrence Tech Blue Devils. And Campbell, wow, he is getting stormed by his players. And the cheerleaders have to move out of the way as that play right there energizes the crowd. We discussed before the half, Jason, what LTU would come out and do. I said I wanted to see the response. And right there, man, what a response by the Blue Devils as they get the ball with excellent field position, looking to even up this game.
Campbell's second interception of the afternoon. Can the Blue Devils feed off of that momentum? Down 6. Campbell's been all over the place, and the Blue Devils hoping to capitalize here. A big play there, quite possibly another momentum shift coming our way. That sets up 2nd and 8 now.
Yeah, LTU, man, they surprise us. You know, they come out and they do what they do best. You know, they're down and out early in this game. It doesn't seem like they have that amount of energy, but then they come out and they just keep making great plays.
That looks like a pitch and catch to Kendall Williams. Will it be a first down gain? Looks like they're about a half a yard shy. So now set up 3rd and short inside of Indiana Wesleyan territory at the 47. Couple of minutes in, and it's been an eventful couple of minutes to this second half. Tanner Foley in the backfield. They go to Foley, and he's bottled up. Indiana Wesleyan saw that from the get-go, and they come up with a huge 3rd and short stop. That will most likely force a punt here. It will. That's big. Recovering from that interception as the Blue Devils connect for 9 yards, but then couldn't quite finish it off and get the first down on 3rd and short there.
Yeah, we preach about LTU being a resilient team, coming out with energy, and right there, the Wildcats show how they could bend also, but they have not broken, as both of these teams, you know, they've come from behind wins, they've been in close games, and they've learned how to roll with the punches and do turnovers, and right there, that one a little touch.
Bobbled and picked up. The Blue Devils, the beneficiary. Early miscues from Indiana Wesleyan, and the Blue Devils will get a second shot at it.
Man, and I've said it before, Jason, this special teams and defense for the Blue Devils really carry this team. Not knocking on the offense, because we've seen how many points they put up throughout this season so far, but just, man, oh man, this defense and special teams, they are just outstanding, and their numbers prove it, as 2 turnovers in a row by the Wildcats. That's not how they wanted to start off this second half. The Blue Devils didn't want to go 4 and out either, but that's what happens, and they get another chance here.
Blue Devils was Wyatt Hilliard scooping that up. The offensive MVP from last week was moved from defense to offense in the spring, plays on the special teams as well. He's out there now, and the Blue Devils down 6 with excellent field position inside the red zone here. That'll now be about a gain of 1 there to put them on the 19-yard line of Indiana Wesleyan. All 3 phases of the game have been crucial for the Blue Devils so far this season, and special teams once again playing a factor. Can they capitalize now? This is a big possession here early in the second half.
Yeah, it's going to set the tone for pretty much this whole third quarter, as stopped once again, and the ball trickles out, but he'll be down. But LTU just having not a lot of success right now, Jason, on the ground, and they're known to have a good running and passing game. Just right now, bottling up is that Wildcat defense.
Brevin Baird's been all over the place for that Indiana Wesleyan defense, and that sets up 3rd and 10. So once again, a 3rd down situation after the Blue Devils have now having an interception in this second half, and they've picked up a muffed punt. 3rd and 10 from the 21. Down the middle. They found C.J. Thompson. Looks like it will not be enough for a first down, though. Interesting decision here. You'd think, Dylan, a field goal at this stage in the game. So much time left. You cut this lead down to 3. You'd think that's most likely where they go here. But flag is down. We'll see what comes in.
Yeah, that's what I would hope for, Jason. You know, you don't want to get too cocky or throw in all your cards at once. Just whittle away at this score. You were up in the game. The Wildcats, 13 unanswered points, and we do have another.
Oh wow, was that another
flag.
Personal foul? Yep. It was another personal foul. And it's a 15-yarder, a big 15-yarder. They could have been in position for a field goal attempt there. And now they're pushed all the way back, most likely out of field goal position. Connor Grobel leads this team in overall scoring with 36 points, field goal kicker, but he's only taken 1 kick from beyond 30 yards this year.
Yeah, it's still going to be 3rd down, so LTU right now just trying to get into field goal position, as you just said, Jason, to give them some chance, as we got another whistle, and it looks to be a timeout.
It will be a timeout. From here, it would be very long kick. You're looking at about a 52-yarder.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to get on your feet one more time, make some noise, and you just might get an LTU t-shirt or a football.
We'll go to a quick breather on LTSN. A 16-10 Indiana Wesleyan lead. Couple of miscues early in the second half for Indiana Wesleyan, but can the Blue Devils capitalize on those miscues when we come back? 3rd and very long. So, Dylan, in the first half, we mentioned those plays that you could possibly look back on and say, okay, what if this had went that way, or what if it went a different way? We now have 2 possessions, really, where the Blue Devils, coming off of forcing turnovers, we'll say here, can they find a way to score? Will this be backed up all the way outside of field goal range?
Yeah, it kind of puts a damper on your defense. As you know, they're making these great turnovers for you. They're getting your offense back with possessions. That one through.
Pass interference there, possibly coming in. Looking for Terrell Cunningham. Flags flew in. Had 2 white jerseys surrounding him, and this could be huge.
And LTU might have got a big break here, as right now, Jason, they've hadn't got a first down in quite some time by themselves. They needing help of the flags or whatever they can, but right now LTU's offense struggling. And as I was saying before, that flag was thrown, that LTU really, they're causing the turnovers, but they're not doing anything with them. They get the ball back, and half the time they're having to punt it right back into the Wildcats' hands. So it will be good, on them, and also for the defense to realize, hey, the offense is doing something with these turnovers that we are generating. And they could also, we know personally from different games this season that the defense has been able to score on their own.
They've been given a second lifeline here. Automatic first down, and from the Indiana Wesleyan 22. Tanner Foley runs ahead there for about a gain of 7. Nice run there from the captain. And Lawrence Tech looking to take advantage of what really is a second life here. They were looking into a very grim future of possibly being outside of field goal range. But with 10:04 to play, down 6, they're back in the groove and looking to get something done here.
Yeah, at least get some points on this drive. That flag really helped them, as now they are in field goal position.
2nd and 5. They fake the handoff. A man open in the end zone. Caught! Kendall Williams hung on. Kolka found him. Big play, and we're tied up at 16.
What a play there, as moving out of the pocket and finding him back there deep in the end zone. And wow, LTU right now buzzing, as that's exactly what they needed. With the help of a little bit of the flag and the penalty, they get that extra life, as you said, Jason, and sparing this extra point attempt, they will take the lead.
Snap was held down kind of awkwardly, but the Blue Devils nonetheless retake the lead, 17-16. Pass interference calls playing an integral role in this ball game. 9:38 to go in the 3rd quarter, and that was absolutely huge. The only downside of that, Kendall Williams was actually carried off the field after that reception and kind of hobbled to the sideline. The Blue Devils are already without Kavon Higdon, who is in a jersey but no pads today. We'll see how that plays a role down here. So Kolka finds Kendall Williams, 15 yards, and it's 17-16 in favor of Lawrence Tech. We could be in for a good one here, Dylan. We thought we would be, and we apparently are.
Yeah, last week the Wildcats were in for a good one. As I just mentioned, they squeaked out a win, 35-34, and that was by 1 point. And Jason, we take a look back in those game-changing plays. That extra point blocked by LTU could be that 1 point, how they squeak away a win here.
You love those little intricacies of a tight game as this kickoff. I think Indiana Wesleyan thought that was going to hop out of bounds and thought they were going to get a penalty, but ended up really the exact opposite. They'll have to set up inside their own 10. Love those little intricacies of a tight game, how they can play a role down the stretch, how you can look back on certain things. Neither of these teams have had tight games over the past month, and this is different today. This is homecoming. This is a beautiful Saturday, and We'll see what Indiana Wesleyan can do here. There have been momentum shifts. Those have been clear. There's no doubt about that. The Blue Devils were looking at possibly not even getting a field goal there. Picked up a touchdown, and now they have a 1-point lead.
Yeah, but now they're pinned down in their own end as well. So let's see. They got a nice run there.
Alford slipped a tackle and might have picked up a first down there. He did. Picked up 12 on the first down carry.
Yeah, see, that's a little bit of the difference here early on in the second half, Jason, how the Wildcats easily pick up first downs. They feed off of that, and the Blue Devils struggling a little bit, but they get that lead, and that's what counts, as the fans are now re-energized, the sideline re-energized, and everybody's feeling good about themselves. Let's see how the defense has an answer here.
Blair, quick throw. Caught out there by Caleb Kelly, junior from Oostburg, Wisconsin. One of the ample amounts of targets that this Indiana Wesleyan team has. We love that matchup at the top of your screen between Cam Mitchell and Braden Smith. Bottom of your screen. It is. And now we go with Alford once again there, picking up a first down. Bottom of your screen, Jalen Smith and Amon Clark, who's already got a touchdown today, going head-to-head. But that is a first down, and Indiana Wesleyan now still down one, looking to push forward, Dylan.
Yeah, they keep the chains moving so much, and, I mean, that's just something that I haven't seen so far against opponents here for LTU this inaugural season, as there seems to be some miscommunication there, but right now it's still a big challenge, LTU has the lead, but they're not out of it.
Blair, he can run. And he might have just scampered his way for a first down. He did. Zach Blair improvising there and doing well. Tommy Larson knocked him out of bounds.
Yeah, we saw LTU's quarterback do a couple runs, and right there Blair with his own. And he has the legs to carry him as well.
Indiana Wesleyan found themselves in a shootout a week ago against St. Francis. That was a big win, as no gain there for Joshua McKenzie. His Indiana Wesleyan team can score 135-34 last week, hanging on in the final minutes. It was a missed field goal from St. Francis that allowed Indiana Wesleyan to come away with a big, big homecoming victory. The Blue Devils last week went on the road, traveled about 16 hours on the bus, watched a ton of movies on that bus ride. Got some good sleep in, heading out up to North Dakota to face Trinity Bible, and they came away with a dominant 68-7 win. And here we go now, 2nd and 13 for Zach Blair, looking for Braden Smith. And he's got Braden Smith, who has such amazing balance on the sidelines. You turn on the film, and this kid is incredible on those sidelines, just so balletic almost.
Yeah, tiptoeing there, as they were saying, out of bounds on the LTU bench. But he gets it, and wow, in 5 plays, the Wildcats are at the 26-yard line of LTU.
Looking to hop into the red zone. It's Devontae Alford, and he gets down near the 20.
And right now, I think the intermission changes from the Wildcats. We're trying to beat LTU's defensive line and how they block, and right now their running game, man, oh man, it is on fire, and they're getting first downs left and right, getting yards left and right.
That was Alford's 11th carry. This time they go to the air. This time they have a man, and a touchdown. It's the sophomore Seth Hobson, and Indiana Wesleyan retakes the lead.
Yeah, 17-yard pass there as he cuts to the outside, and they will take the lead. LTU down behind the 8 ball once again. And let's see if they could get another blocked field goal here, and that one will go good though. So it's going to be 22-17 here, Jason, and it is going to be a tough one as a couple LTU players and coaches shaking their head. and it's a challenge. Indiana Wesleyan, you know, they're 4-1, but man, they are a strong team. They're on a win streak as well. So, I mean, tonight, Jason, one win streak will end. Either it'll be for the Blue Devils or for the Wildcats.
A part of the anticipation, a part of the build coming into this one. It's now 23-17. Indiana Wesleyan marches right back down the field and answers back. Their second time they've led in the second half. They carried a 16-10 lead into the second half. Blue Devils were able to feast off a couple of early mistakes, but Indiana Wesleyan has put those early mistakes in the rear view mirror. And kicking off will be Von Guten.
Yeah, both teams had a lot of turnovers, and that one rolls past the end zone, so it'll be a touchback. But both teams had a lot of turnovers, a lot of adversity in this game. And, I mean, just the way both teams have responded, I love. And, you know, LTU's defense would rank #1 in the NAI if the stats counted and yards allowed per game. But right now they're really being tested. So is their offense.
Blue Devils have given up 213 today. As Dylan mentioned, they've coming into this one, they were only giving up 105 per game. That would be #1 in the NAIA if it did count. Under 6 to play in the third quarter. Both teams have had the ball. And Kolka back up, looking for the same results as he had last time around. They go to a quick pass. They find Cunningham. He'll be dragged out there. And nice open field tackle by Massimo Pagnini.
Check that, Terrell Cunningham.
Pagnoni, one of the players with intense focus on this Indiana Wesleyan defense, but a gain of 7 there. And now we'll have a momentary halt in play. Looks like an offensive lineman down here. That might be John McKelvin, the Winter Garden, Florida native. West Orange High School, one of plenty Floridians on this team. For a moment there, he looked back to go back into the huddle, but he will head off to the sideline.
Yeah, it takes a little breather as a bunch of players going down here in this game. That just shows how physical and amped up these players are. They're competing hard against one another, and it's showing.
So something to look for. Kendall Williams, he's currently being taken off the field. Brilliant receiver. Made the touchdown catch for 15 yards. Last time the Blue Devils were on this field. One of the many targets on this Blue Devil team. This Blue Devil team has ample ammunition at the tight end and receiver position. This time they go down the seam, and it's picked off. At the 49 of Lawrence Tech, a big turnover, second turnover of the day for Kolka, and it's Cameron Locke, the dynamic defensive back from Crittersville, Ohio.
And that right there is a backbreaker as Kolka on the sideline trying to figure that one out, and I don't know if it was just miscommunication, something with that play just didn't connect, as the receiver was not there and easily read by the Wildcats defense. And once again, Jason, they're going to start their drive with great positioning, and it's just another hurdle, another little fall. Right now in this game, the Blue Devils, they're taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
McKenzie, it's the 30 into the second level and inside the red zone. Joshua McKenzie. And this Wildcat team is in business with the Blue Devils in need of a stop.
Yeah, right now the Blue Devils just need to calm down. They know their game plan. They know what they could do. And just right now it is not working for them, as this is a tough team they are against.
First of 2 matchups between these sides this year. Potential rivalry down the road. If this is any indication of how these games will play out between these two sides, it'll be fun to watch. Right now, Indiana Wesleyan with the momentum. It's been a game of momentum shifts. And there goes Tyrell Phelps, the sophomore out of Marion.
Yeah, a little bit of pushing and shoving there, as probably now Jason, the frustration will start building, the anxiety for this game, and also just the teams right now being really dialed in, and you know, a lot of compete.
second down.
Dylan, we talked about the mental situations that this LTU team hasn't necessarily been in this year very much. They obviously came back from down 22-3 on the road against Wisconsin Lutheran, so they have the ability to stay in a game. But a big possession here. This feels big. 2nd and 9. They go back to McKenzie, who had that big run on first down to get this drive going. And McKenzie is stopped after about a gain of 4 to set up a big 3rd down here.
Yeah, Jason, not saying that LTU hasn't played any real teams. They played some good teams who have good talent. But, you know, it was just spots of talent. This Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats team, they're brimming with talent, and they got it all over the field at all positions, defense, offense, and special teams. You're seeing it in their turnovers and their plays. And, I mean, they find a way to get those first downs that LTU right now in this game have not been able to muster up.
Both teams very dynamic, both teams very conditioned. Who can stay mentally tough in the second half? It's Caleb Kelly inside the 10 on a crossing route, and a nice pickup there of about 14.
Yeah, Kelly able to make that catch easily, and he runs and gets the first down, and it's going to be 1st and goal here.
1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Blue Devils make a couple of changes here, bringing in some more beef. .2:30 to play in the 3rd. A goal line set. A 1st and goal run, and a 1st and goal touchdown for Indiana Wesleyan to take a 2-possession lead with 2:19 to play in the 3rd. Devontae Alford gets in again, had 5 touchdowns coming into today, and he sneaks in for his first of the afternoon.
Yeah, nothing to be worried about for Lawrence Tech. We see them succumb very, very high odds and come back against that Wisconsin team. And, you know, their record after trailing after the 3rd quarter is 1-0. That was in that game. So, like we mentioned before, Jason, they haven't had a lot of tests in that regards. But, you know, this is what you need. I mean, these are the types of teams you are going to verse in the second half of the season and also next year. And, excuse me, it's only going to get harder from here. So, I mean, these are the types of games, as Lawrence Tech calls a timeout, these are the types of games that, you know, you want to play in. You don't want to always have, you know, it's awesome blowing out a team 62-0. But, I mean, you know, you want to be in these tight, close games where you're behind, you're playing a great team, and it's just going to build your confidence. So no matter what, win, lose, or, you know, turnovers, whatever, touchdown against, this is just helping this Blue Devil team in the long run becoming the team that they can be.
So Indiana Wesleyan came out appearing as though they were going to try to go for 2. A timeout was called. We'll see what they do here. LTU brings out their typical defensive unit, led by Matt Esterly, captain, vocal leader. We'll see if they can stay mentally tough. 2:19 to play in the 3rd.
Yeah, the Wildcats probably trying to go for the 2 to make up for that blocked field goal attempt or extra point attempt. And so they could, so they won't lose by that 1 point as we mentioned before, Jason. So they're going to try here, and there's a flag.
Indiana Wesleyan won by 1 point last week. You've seen that missed their blocked extra point kind of play a role when the Blue Devils were in charge, but now they find themselves down 12. Looks like the penalty might have been against LTU. And now, for the 3rd time, Indiana Wesleyan will line up, trying to tack on 2 more, trying to make it a 14-point lead. Tough throw, tough grab. They do just that.
And the 2-point conversion will be good.
Tyler Thomas, freshman from Columbus, Indiana, hauls that one in, extending those long arms. The 12 men on the field penalty didn't play much of a role, but 31-17, Indiana Wesleyan now. A 14-point, 2-possession lead Tyler Kolka and the Blue Devil offense looking to get some life back into the crowd here on LTSN.
Yeah, Kolka really has to bear down here, control his team, control his offense. It's his team, and he has to put the pedal to the metal right now, as really it's up to the offense to get some points. You know, your defense can help you with turnovers and stuff, but if you don't capitalize on those opportunities, Jason, they could come back and bite you.
So an interception thrown by Kolka last time out.
Yeah, he's really just got to shake that off and continue to play to his abilities, how we know he likes to play and how he will.
First they'll have to take over this kick return, trying to bring it out there, but only getting to about the 19. And now that will set up the offense. Kolka finds himself in a position where he will have to make sure this team is, as you mentioned, Dylan, calm in a moment where they are trailing by 2 scores. And 2:19 to play in the third.
Yeah, Kolka really as well, Jason. He's used to starting off with great field positioning, as those kick returns usually get at least past averaging. They're averaging past the 25 at least 8 out of 10 times. So being down underneath the 20-yard line, that's tough when you have to go pretty much almost the full length of the field.
Pass on the 1st and 10 play. Broken up there. A nice play, sticking the hand in there. Massimo Pagnini at 6'1". Blue Devil down on the field here. We spoke about Kolka, and he's a guy who hasn't, on a couple of occasions, had to play in the second half. Now he finds 2:05 on the clock, a timeout here. And this injury doesn't appear to be a good one. Hobbling off here, not able to do it on his own weight, is James Thorpe.
And that is the 3rd injury we've seen today here, Jason, for Lawrence Tech. Our guys dropping like flies here, and it's just a very competitive game. And everybody laying their bodies out on the line. It looks to be a lower body injury once again.
This is not good. That's James Thorpe, a captain. Appears to be in quite a bit of pain, helped off there by Ahmad Sabah. Blue Devils already with a couple of top targets on the offense out. And now crucial offensive line piece is out. No Kendall Williams, no Kavon Higdon, and another flag flies in.
So yeah, 2:05 remaining here in the 3rd quarter, and it's 31-17. So we got another flag, and that discipline, man, that is killing the Blue Devils right now, as they have too many men on the field. And that one is just one of those penalties that you could avoid. It's not one that's part of the play. It's just a lazy penalty. Miscommunication there, and that's tough, as it's going to push them back even more.
Things are beginning to pile on. They're going against the wind. Here's 2nd and long from inside their own 20. Kolka out of the shotgun. Under pressure, throws, finds a man. Looks like Cunningham trying to cut upfield. Gets vertical and picks up about 10 there, and that might set up a 3rd and 5 situation.
Yeah, good play by Cunningham there, catching the ball, and you love the receivers who could catch it and then keep getting extra yards. As he catches it, spins out to the left, and
there's another flag. We'll see where this goes. Flags have played a big role in this one. 2 scores, you can really say that pass interference calls are responsible.
Yep, and they've helped LTU too, so let's see which way this one goes, as right now just very, very tough game offensively here for the Blue Devils, as they're not used to having this tough a time getting points on the board. As last game, they came out 55-0 in the 1st quarter.
Offensive pass interference, and that's quite deflating for this Blue Devil team. They're now backed up inside their own 10.
Got to be careful for safety here, as we see in LTU. do that a couple of times. But man, these penalties and just the turnovers and everything happening in this game so far, Jason, just not going the Blue Devils' way, and it could be one of those days where you just gotta take it and move on.
That's true. Bit of an animated conversation in that last huddle, trying to pump some energy into this team. Coca looks down the field, looks down the seam, almost picked off again by Locke. He was looking for his second interception of the day. Excellent coverage there downfield. And that will set up now 3rd and very long.
Dang, that could have been the 3rd interception of the game by Kolka. Man, he's having some trouble, and I think that's just the added pressure he's getting as the offensive line right now. They're putting up a wall, but it's getting broken down by this Wildcat blitz, and it's a tough game so far.
Now you're in an odd situation, really backed up against your own goal line. They'll dump it off to Foley, looking for blocks. Has one block. Can he get another? And we'll be nowhere near the first down marker. They all get back to about the line of scrimmage. But this will bring out the punting unit with now under 1:30 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Ball spotted at the 23-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down.
And the Blue Devils are going to have to punt this one away once again. Not what you wanted here, Jason, as they need the points, and time clicking down here in the 3rd quarter. And it's going to be a tough road and hill to climb here for the rest of this game.
Under a minute to play in the 3rd. They'll punt on 4th and 8 from their own 21-yard line here. Heavy rush, and that punt muffed for the 2nd time this half. Blue Devils possibly a lifeline given they'll start in Indiana Wesleyan territory. That's huge.
Man, everything going against the Blue Devils, and the defense and special teams once again gives them a little shot, reviving them on the sidelines. And this offense has to answer here, Jason. I have not seen them this deflated all season, and right now, nothing is going for them here, and their special teams once again gives them a little revive, a little boost of energy, but they have to do something with it because they cannot go 4 and out here once again.
Could that perhaps be a monumental shift? The Blue Devils given a second chance once again. Second muffed punt of the half. Kolka looking to take control right away. Was that intercepted? I think it was. Oh my. That was Justin Johnson. And Kolka continues to have a rough day out there. That one you'll look back on, and they'll want that back.
Man, oh man, this game is something. I have not seen a game like this in quite some time, Jason. It's happening right here in Southfield. Man, it's just momentum switches left and right. It's a tough day, and this Blue Devil offense, I don't know what they have to do. I mean, they went into the intermission, into the halftime, you know, preparing, figuring out what they have to do to beat this Wildcat defensive core, and just right now it is not working. And I don't know how many chances the Blue Devils special teams and defense could muster off for this offense because they're not supporting them.
Alford breaks free there and gets a nice gain past the initial contact. Dylan, you mentioned how many chances will they have? Are they out of chances perhaps as this 3rd quarter clock appears to wind down here with 10 seconds left? Will Indiana Wesleyan try to get another playoff? I don't think they will. They won't. And they'll carry a 31-17 lead into the 4th quarter, a 4th quarter that the Blue Devils will feel they should have had the ball to start out with. So, 14-point Indiana Wesleyan lead. Blue Devils are able to get a couple of lifelines, but unable to take advantage. We'll be back on LTSN after the quick breather.
Members of Sigma Phi Epsilon for the Michigan First Credit Union Punt, Pass, and Kick Relay Challenge. Members of each team will either punt, pass, or kick the ball starting from the goal line. The team to make a field goal at the end is our champion. Contested Are you ready? Down, set, hike! Great job, contestants. Let's give it up one more time so the Sigma Phi Epsilon alum and active members. Unofficially, we call active as the winners. Check that, alumni are the victors.
Welcome back to LTSN. Blue Devils get a second muffed punt, but they were unable to capitalize. That sets up Zach Blair and Joshua McKenzie again, but Daniel Max in the backfield that time. The 225 linebacker out of Rochester. Blue Devils still have a whole quarter to go, trailing 2 scores. A play like that is what you need right off the bat.
Yeah, you could say this is the biggest quarter of the season so far for this Blue Devil team, as they had it. I mean, I'm not going to say spoon-fed to them, but it's been easy, Jason. It has been easy for them throughout the season, and I mean, no matter what happens in this game, I think it's going to be a learning curve. And I mean, you need to have a team in your inaugural season that gives you a challenge, and I'm like so excited they get to play them again, because this game is going to be well read.
Blair, what a catch there, made by, that is Amon Clark, a big gainer inside the 20. And Amon Clark had a touchdown catch earlier today, comes up big there, and that is a bit of a dagger to the heart.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker, Jason. I mean, I don't know how many chances the football gods are going to give you, but eventually it's going to go the other way. Most of the time, even like with referee calls, you know, they play the game evenly, and that's how you want the game to be played. LTU had their chance. They had the luck of the draw and just did not play their cards right. And right now, everything's spiraling out of control for the Blue Devils. And this is tough to see as a fan. And up here in the booth, you could see it on the faces. They're like, wow, this is what real NAI football is going to look like.
45-yarder from Amon Clark on the pitch and catch. Wind howling now. Indiana Wesleyan going into the wind. Blue Devils get a man off the field at the last moment. Now a timeout is called. And sideline isn't happy. Coach Duvendek is not happy.
Yeah, man, once again, Jason, too many men on the field, and Lawrence Tech has to use one of those very, very valuable timeouts here as they're down in the game. Say later in the game when you need to push the ball forward, the clock's going to keep running, and they only have 2 timeouts now to use. It's going to be tough.
Indiana Wesleyan at the Blue Devil 21. To start off this drive, nice hit made by Daniel Max in the backfield, but Zach Blair responds, hitting LTU over the top, similar to what Indiana Wesleyan did so well last week against St. Francis. And this is an Indiana Wesleyan program that has plenty of support, plenty of fandom, just like LTU, plenty of media coverage that has been so good this year. Their first game consisted of not only tailgating, but get this, skydivers who delivered the game ball. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. They put on a spectacle as well as we keep mentioning LTU. Man, they really have done a great job this season just getting the fan base rocking. As another run here, using his blockers and getting in near the 5-yard line for the Wildcats. But man, oh man, just today just is a tough ride here for the Blue Devil faithful.
Nice scheme there from Indiana Wesleyan. They had the trip set up to the left, but then ran it to the right. And the Blue Devils simply didn't have too many guys over there. And they used some nice blocking to set up 1st and goal from the 5.
Wind really picking up here, Jason, so expect them to try to keep it on the ground. As LTU, maybe that could have contributed to a couple of their little interceptions, as the wind definitely a key factor here.
Blair will keep it. Lappin will hit him. Oh, look out. Oh, wow. Hoping that. Wow.
And we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here.
31-17, hoping that everyone in the crowd is all right. Had a little bit of a mishap there with our tents. Meanwhile, Zach Blair and this Indiana Wesleyan offense on second down. Blair looking to the end zone, looking for Braden Smith. Off his hands.
Blair's pass intended for Braden Smith. Thomas Lappin broke up the pass for the Blue Devils.
Thomas Lappin broke up that pass for LTU. 11:40 to play here in the final quarter. Sets up what could still be a big third down. This game is nowhere near over.
Blue Devils defense right now really has to stop them here, as they cannot go down by 3 possessions. That's a tough road to climb.
Blair under pressure, looking at the end zone. Blue Devils stay strong in a big moment there. Field goal unit will come out for the Wildcats.
Yeah, they needed that there by the Blue Devil defense, as at least keeping the score as tight as can be, trying to keep the Blue Devils here in the game, as the field goal team comes out here for the Wildcats. But LTU on this next possession is going to be a big possession here for the rest, and it's going to decide if the Blue Devils could keep it close.
Ben Von Guten, 3 of 6 on the season. Make it 4 of 7. They're going to say that was no good. It sailed wide, so that could perhaps be a hinge moment. Wide right. So we stay a 2-possession game. And that third down stop does turn out to be big. Indiana Wesleyan unable to capitalize in the red zone, and all of a sudden that changes the equation a bit. That keeps your hopes alive, and that keeps the energy alive. Now, can you find that last bit of mental effort, Dylan, in a situation like this? You're an LTU athlete, tight game. What do you look for in a moment like this? You're down, time is dwindling.
I think you look for your leaders to be leaders, and that happens, it trickles from the coaching staff down to on the field, but you want players next to you that know how to take charge in these situations, as right there a great pass, and LTU will at least gain a gain of about 5, and you look for just leadership and everybody buying into the system, because there's still time on the clock, and it's a never give up attitude that you just want to be spread throughout your whole lineup. And eventually it'll lead you to victory, and hopefully LTU could keep causing turnovers, keep moving up the field, moving those chains, and at least get some more points up here on the board, as that, once again, we thought their luck had run out, Jason, a missed field goal. So their luck is still going, and that means they still have a chance in this game.
Given yet another chance, although here is James Thorpe once again limping off. He came back out onto the field after an injury that didn't look like he would return from. And now he's back in more pain on the sideline. Blue Devils without a couple of targets. Kendall Williams, who caught a touchdown pass, he's out right now, was injured on that touchdown catch. Blue Devils trail by 2 touchdowns. Tanner Foley in the backfield. Ball was muffed momentarily. Kolka pounced on it. That was very important, obviously. That was set up 3rd down and 7, though.
Snapper's fumble, recovered by Kolka.
Jamison caught that pass on 1st down, the converted running back to wide receiver. We saw him in the spring game playing running back. He has brilliant speed, lovely speed, and it is fun to watch, and he's one of those guys, along with Spencer Iaquinto, out there who you think will have to step up on passing situations just like this one right here. 10:16 to go in the fourth. Kolka takes the snap. Dumps it off. Cam Jamison right on cue on the crosser, but hit for about a gain of 1, and that will set up a punt most likely here.
And once again, a 4-and-out, Jason, and it's just been a tough game for the Blue Devils offensively. You know, their defense is there, their special teams is there, but right now their offense just cannot find a way to discover the key to get past this Wildcat beat.
Back to receive for the Wildcats, Amon Clark and Joshua McKenzie.
So Brad Gibson back to punt. 9:30 to play. Blue Devils obviously will have to come up with another big stop, although that is a bad punt there. Indiana Wesleyan will have very nice field position once again here. They'll set up shop at their own 45. They didn't have to return it there. I was going to mention that they have muffed 2 punts this half already, although a bad punt will set them up in ideal field position, and the Blue Devils in need of a stop here.
Yeah, we've been saying that just every time the Wildcats have gotten the ball, Blue Devils needed a stop, and they do. Then the offense comes out, and it's pretty much a wash, rinse, repeat type of thing for this game, and it's just not working for the Blue Devils. Let's see what the Wildcats have in store for them once again here, going in the offense, and they have great field positioning again, and right now they're just winning that field position battle as it's been all Wildcats.
And that is the exact opposite of what we saw the last time the Blue Devils were at home, when they absolutely dominated the field position aspect of the football game against Pitt's club team. And there, Devontae Alford stopped in the backfield for a loss of 1. Thomas Lappin in on the tackle there. He's had another nice performance. That linebacking core. Robbie Best, Daniel Max. See Fareed Saluade get plugged in there at times. James Thorpe, offensive lineman, now having ice wrapped around his ankle. Doesn't look to be in too much pain. You hope he's all right. But having that ice wrapped around the ankle, he might be done for the day once the Blue Devils get back on offense. You wouldn't think that they'd send him out there again. Here's the snap. Larson brought pressure, but they look for Braden Smith. Leaping, but to no avail, going up against Cam Mitchell, that excellent matchup on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, good play there, staying with the man, avoiding the pass interference, as those flags have been flying a lot recently, and Blue Devils now hanging on to life still. We have 8:27 remaining, 31-17, and Jason, I'm not going to say it's over, but the Blue Devils have to get a good stop here, and they definitely have to score on their next possession.
It's like a flag here will possibly push Indiana Wesleyan back. If the Blue Devils can come away with a stop, perhaps changing field position. So a chop block called. And that'll be seconds and very long. 31-17, Dylan. Still a game that's in striking distance for the Blue Devils. If they can come up with a stop here, you're thinking 2 possessions, 2 scores. You need 2 stops as well.
Yeah, it's a by committee type of game, and that's what football is. And right now, just the offense has not been there for the Blue Devils. The Wildcats, they've been getting their great defensive awareness. They have 3 interceptions here tonight, and that's just unheard of from this Blue Devil offense. And they are right now, they're putting half the distance to the goal here. They're all the way back.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
As we also get an unsportsmanlike conduct.
2
Yeah, 2 of them, as it seemed someone was mouthing off to the ref, and also I saw a helmet be thrown onto the ground by the Wildcats. So the Blue Devil defense, once again, they're getting the right flags they need, drawing the right penalties, and pushing them back by that accord, as it's going to be second and long here.
Second and super long for Indiana Wesleyan. They'll just run it here. This could be big for the Blue Devils, though. This couple of penalties push them back inside their own red zone. We talked about the field position battle. This drive started out at the 45 of Lawrence Tech. Indiana Wesleyan has won the field position battle so far this afternoon. But this has now pushed them back and perhaps setting up a dangerous punt returner in Cam Mitchell, if you can get the stop here.
Yeah, Mitchell's been kind of quiet this game. Haven't really heard much about him. And right here, if the defense can force a punt, it's going to be a big play.
On 3rd and 37, Larson brings pressure, hits the quarterback, hits the crosser, the running back, Alvord, getting a couple of blocks, still on his feet. Inside, cuts it back to the 50, to the 49. 3 yards shy of a first down. What a gain there, backed up at their own 15. They get all the way back inside of Blue Devil territory on a 34-yard gain on 3rd and 37. You don't hear that every day, Dylan.
Dang, you sure do not, Jason. And once again, this game has been filled with so many things I have not seen this season. Man, and that's tough. We know they are coming out to punt. You thought LTU would get great field positioning on this, and we have a Quinto going back there to actually receive this punt, Jason. So not the Mitchell that we said, but let's see what he could do here, as we thought LTU would get great field position. That punt's going to sail wide, and he gets it.
Quinto, flag down. Gets out across the 30, stays inbounds, was able to get up to the 39. Will this stand, though? Could be good field position if it does. Blue Devils thought that they would be around this marker, or maybe even further down the field, had they kept Indiana Wesleyan back inside their own 20. Weren't able to do that. And now could a flag hurt them? It looks like it will.
And just everything going against the Blue Devils as we speak. And it could be a wake-up call here, Jason, as I'm not going to say they had it easy, but, you know, hasn't been that tough of a challenge here throughout this inaugural season. But right now, a little bit of a wake-up call for the Blue Devils, as they're going to definitely look back on this film and this game and figure out what's been going wrong, as they only have 6:41 here remaining to try to get a tie game, force it into overtime, or take the lead.
Plenty of recruits in town for Lawrence Tech in attendance today. As the penalty will go against Lawrence Tech. Once again, our storyline coming in. Both of these teams in their inaugural seasons, both will join the Mid-States Football Association next season when these games start to actually have implications. And now they find themselves in their first of 2 head-to-head battles this year. One more on November 17th in Marion, Indiana. Indiana Wesleyan has won 4 in a row. Blue Devils are undefeated at 5-0. Indiana Wesleyan looking to hand Lawrence Tech their first loss of the season. A disappointing one it would be on homecoming as the officials come together here. Head coach Jordan Langs for Indiana Wesleyan told me earlier this week that he felt the talent, the skills positions, the ability to have a balanced and effective game would be key for this Indiana Wesleyan team coming in. He feels that's one of their strong suits, and we've seen that today. Talk to me about the defense and talk to me about the leadership, the athleticism that this team possesses. The defense has shown their athleticism with a couple of interceptions and a forced fumble. Here's Golka. 6:40 to play, down 2 scores. That's jarred loose. Could this be another turnover? Looks like LTU has recovered.
And once again, just LTU having trouble holding on to the ball. And that one was stripped loose once again, but lucky for LTU, they recover it and they get another shot of life. As just the offense right now, very, very tough game for them, a tough outing. And Kolka again passes to the right side and a nice little chip of the leg. And not much yardage gain there.
Under 6 to play in the 4th now. You need 2 quick scores if you're Lawrence Tech. Currently backed up inside their own 15. First, 3rd down and 7. The throw, another flag.
Coca's pass intended for Spencer Iaquinto, incomplete.
Yeah, that was intended for Spencer Iaquinto, and that's incomplete. But it's going to be 3rd and 8 here, Jason, and it's a tough challenge, as we mentioned, though, before. The percentage, 3rd down completions for the Blue Devils very high, also 4th down completions. So, I don't know, Jason, is it too early to say that they will be going for it on 3rd down no matter what, or depending on the field position, it's going to be tough?
That is interesting. 5:36 to play in the 4th. 5-yard penalty will give Lawrence Tech 3rd and 1 here. With 5:36 to play, it's Kolka. He's looking, has a man for a 1st down, C.J. Thompson. Brought down there by Justin Brown for a 1st down with 5:30 to go. They don't have to run into that 4th down situation. But now the tempo is up, something that they haven't been forced to do this year, something we haven't seen them do much, and they haven't had to. Another flag down. Jamison sideline drops. Blue Devils hoping this flag won't set them back.
Yeah, Jamison right there just turned his head a little bit too early before the ball hit his hands, and he saw the 2 incoming defenders and just dropped that one once again. As the Blue Devils, that was the first time I've seen the chains move in the last two drives, you know, by the Blue Devils' own accord, not by a flag.
False start called.
Second and 10.
2nd and 10 for this Lawrence Tech offense. 2:44 on the day for this LTU offense. 5:55 a week ago. Coco rolls, hits Thompson for the 2nd time, but he was hit and dropped immediately to the delight of that Indiana Wesleyan sideline.
Big hit there. As right now they're just trying to stomp out any life that LTU has, any life that the fans have.
3rd down.
And it's tough with time just ticking away off that clock, Jason.
Up tempo again, another flag again. Dylan, these mental situations that LTU hasn't been forced to be in this year. This appears to be playing a role. I mean, you got 4:38 to play. You're really trying to speed things up. They haven't been forced to do that at all this year. And an offsides will be called, and that'll set LTU back another 5.
Yeah, it's tough, Jason. Definitely a wake-up call. As I mentioned before, early in this show, not saying any of these teams that LTU played, you know, are subpar. You know, they're good teams. They have good talent, but I think the talent is there in one or two, a few players. This Wildcat team, man, everyone has exceptional talent, pretty much built off the same standards as this LTU team, and right now they're getting it taken to them, and that just shows that, hey, you know, we're not the gods of the world. You know, we are human, and we're gonna make mistakes, and we might even lose a game or two, but that's not gonna deter us from our mission here, and that's to be a championship team. And just as we preach in any sport, you know, you want to have these tough challenges. You know, they're measuring sticks, and now you realize, like, hey, there's another team out there that can compete with us. You know, we're not going to beat everybody 55-0 after the first quarter. It's not going to be that easy, and, you know, you just got to battle through it. And once again, learning, you know, failure, I think, is the biggest, as that one is intercepted once again.
Intercepted there. It's Massimo Pagnini pirouetting. Coco was hit as he threw it. Flags thrown. A push late.
And another interception there as the offense just contributing to that tone of we're not in it today. We're not in it to win, and we're not competing. And it's tough. It really is. But as I was saying before that fourth interception by Kolka, that failure is the greatest teacher, I think. Personally, any coach and any team, you know, success, you know, you're happy, you're enjoying it. But failure, I think, really makes yourself look in the mirror and ask yourself, you know, what am I? Who am I? What is my role on this team? And what can I do to help out? And right there, just another interception, as we do have a flag on the play. Looks to be on the Wildcats.
Indiana Wesleyan. Illegal block in the back to Indiana Wesleyan on the return.
Illegal block in the back on the return. That interception from Pognini, perhaps the dagger. And for the first time really on this home field, lifeless body language on the LTU sideline. They'll have to try to recover from this. They'll head to Northern Michigan next week, another long bus ride. Can they bounce back? Under 5 to play. You need to probably force a turnover here. It's Alford again. Another first down. Gets past Campbell, leaping his way inside the 5. Spectacular run there from Devontae Alford. And he's up over 70 yards on the day.
Yeah, trying to jump over the LTU defense there. Try to get to the pylon into the end zone. And just not something you want to see. No, I love that never give up attitude that LTU has had so far. But as you mentioned, Jason, they're looking somber and they're looking sorry for themselves. And you can't do that in any sport, in any aspect of it. You know, it's something you just got to build off of, as right there stopped up right at the goal line by the Blue Devils. But it's a tough one, and for sure a wake-up call. And, you know, at practice, you know, they might get a couple extra reps in by Coach Duvendeck, and it's going to be all well and worth it.
Yeah, this team already runs a lot in practice, and there might be a little bit more running. You look back on all moments in this game where you could say, okay, what if this had gone that way? And when you watch the film, it'll be an interesting conversation. The last time we saw Indiana Wesleyan down in this area of the field, Blue Devils actually came away with the stop and didn't give up any points. A couple of muffed punts early in this second half that the Blue Devils could not capitalize on. An interception from Andrew Campbell as Devontae Alford stretches it and finds another touchdown. Alford waltzes in for his second of the day, 37-17. And that will be the dagger with 2:40 to play here at the LTU Athletic Field.
Yeah, you don't like seeing that, as Alfred literally just walked into the end zone. No pressure there at all by the LTU defense. They've been there all game, you know, but eventually, like, hey, nothing we're doing is helping our team, really. Our offense isn't helping us. And, you know, I'd say let's throw in the white towel. You don't like to see that, but man, oh man, this is a tough one, and this could change the whole tone for the rest of the season here for the Blue Devils.
And that'll be something to look forward to. Hopefully it will not change in a negative way. Can you bounce back from this? First time in modern era program history that you'll have to bounce back. First homecoming game since 1946 here. First season since 1946. First year of collegiate football for all of these guys. And now it's a learning situation, as you said, Dylan. Learning how to handle themselves in those moments. We saw false starts and illegal formations creep in moments where they can't creep in. Trying to speed up the tempo.
Yeah, just a lot of challenges, Jason. A very, very challenging game here today for the Blue Devils. Their first challenge offensively, not being able to get first downs, having at least a multitude of 4 and outs. First challenge defensively, as you know, they're not being able to stop the run game. And first challenge, you know, with turnovers, as you know, mainly it's been really flags. But today, man, there's a bunch of fumbles. You know, they recovered 2 of them, luckily, but the interceptions aren't acceptable from an outstanding quarterback that we do have. And they're just going to have to go back to the drawing board. As you know, this isn't the end of the season. They still got 3 more matches left, and they have a matchup against the same exact team. So I'm excited for that one. They're going to need to come out with a lot more poise, pressure, and prominence there in that game, and it should be a good one.
12 points off of 4 turnovers for Indiana Wesleyan today. Blue Devils have actually scored 18 off of 5.
Pass complete.
Try to speed things up a little here. Definitely, as you said, Dylan, you don't want to throw in the white flag. Want to keep that mental edge intact. And now it's time for the character of these LTU athletes to show out on this field.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be a little bit somber here, but their coach, if I was the coach, Duvendek, I would walk in and be like, hey guys, that's our first loss. The season's not over. It's not a failing season. We've accomplished most of our goals, I think, that they've set early on, where, right from the beginning, right from training camp. Their goals of, win a game, get them, break some records, get comfortable out there, get the fans excited and amped up here in Southfield at LTU. And I think, you keep checking off those. And then also, although, it's not, you don't want that on your goal chart, but I think losing one game is good for this team. You don't want to go into next season, with your chest too pumped up. You want to be humble. You don't want to be cocky. But I think losing one game is one of those check marks, I think, that the Blue Devils coaching staff has to have set, subliminally in their minds.
Lawrence Tech will hope to get Kevon Higdon back, hope to get Kendall Williams back for this offense soon. Kevon Higdon is no longer wearing a walking boot. The electric player, brother of Michigan running back. And we've seen both of them excel at times this year. And this Blue Devil offense, you hope to definitely get Williams back. That was a tough injury going down on the touchdown catch that made it 17-16. And here's Cunningham across the middle. Cunningham and C.J. Thompson have been the go-tos today, along with Cam Jamison. We've seen C.J. Thompson quite a bit across the middle catching passes. And now Kolka, a couple of signals to his sideline. We'll try to get something on the board. Shade over a minute to play here from the L2 athletic field. Looking downfield into double coverage and broken up.
Yeah, once again, good defensive play there by the Wildcats, as right now they're just shutting it down in all facets. As this really, though, has been the first time the Blue Devils have been moving upfield in quite some time. But, a little too late here, Jason.
Another piece of that offense the Blue Devils will probably need to get back is James Thorpe, captain, 6'4", from Largo, Florida. He has ice wrapped around his ankle, having a little trouble moving around on the sidelines. This one will be far too long for Cunningham, but a hand in there will possibly draw a pass interference call there.
Yeah, it looks like there will be here, Jason, as a little shove of the hand on the intended receiver there, but once again, LTU maybe could add a little bit of couple more points here.
That'll go against Blake Green.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty from the foul line.
So Blue Devils trying to add to that score, at least shrink the gap so it looks better there on the stats. But right now, definitely defeated faces there in body language.
We'll be back in a moment on LTSN, with the Wildcats holding a 38-17 lead. Victory in sight on the road. A big matchup today. We'll be right back here on LTSN. Welcome back into the Lawrence Tech Sports Network. It's a pleasure to have you here for this one. We thank you for tuning in. Just 50 seconds to go here in what will be the Blue Devils' first loss of this probationary season. This is a game that we felt would be a big one coming in today. Polka hit as he throws here, looking for Spencer Iaquinto. And this is a team that the Blue Devils will have another crack at when they go to Marion, Indiana on the 17th of November, final day of the regular season. This is a Blue Devil team that has been confident all year long. And they've had performances that rightfully have given them confidence. But now how will they react to a loss like this, where things have unraveled late, where the mistakes that we have seen really all year for this team in terms of self-inflicted mistakes have hurt them and hurt them badly. As that pass sails a route for Cam Jamison there. A couple of injuries that you hope will not last on that Blue Devil offense.
Yeah, it's a tough one all around. It's just it's a brutal game out there, and this is one for the memories, as it's definitely gonna eat at a couple of these players. But that's up to the coaching staff, to calm them down. Say, hey, boys, we got another shot at this team. And they're going to become prepared for that one, as a lot to learn from this game.
You hope that it'll eat at them in the right way, as there's a touchdown to Terrell Cunningham. Perhaps helping the psyche a little bit of this team. Now 38-23 with 34 seconds left. Dylan, you wonder, though, this is one of these moments where you look back and say, when the Blue Devils were down 31-17 and that interception was thrown, if they had marched down and perhaps scored, how different this game could be.
Yeah, definitely. And also, too, Jason, on that blocked extra point attempt, if that touchdown counted, because they got that, and that one splits uprights, but they got that, and then the flag, they got called back, and then it was a 4-and-out. They didn't get any points on that turnover, so that could have been, there's a lot of different places in this game that you could look back and say, what if? I, as a sports person myself, I don't like saying what ifs. I like saying what happened, and right there, nothing happened for the Blue Devils here this game. It's good, though. I love how they scored here on their supposedly last drive of the game. They'll probably try an onside kick here, Jason, try to get possession again, as it really is surmountable. It's a 2-possession lead here. But the Blue Devils, it's a little bit of confidence booster. At least they go into the locker room like, hey, we were able to drive down the field and get a touchdown against this Wildcat defense, who's been strong all game.
Terrell Cunningham, who caught that touchdown pass, a bright spot for this Lawrence Tech team today. 149 for Cunningham. He came in leading this team in receiving yards with 223. He's piled on with that today. Had a 51-yard reception earlier in the game, averaging about 15 yards per catch. So he's been a bright spot. They'll hope to get a couple of other targets back, and Kendall Williams and Kevon Higdon as we get an onside kick here. Cameron Locks able to jump on that. With 32 seconds left, Indiana Wesleyan can just kneel this one out.
Yeah, we'll see here if they take a knee.
But the score does look a little better, 38-24. You tack one more on, although still a tough one to swallow. No doubt about that.
Yeah, we knew coming into this game, Jason, that one of these win streaks was going to end. Unfortunately, it is the Blue Devils, but that's all right. As the Wildcats, though, they extend their win streak to 5. They lost the first game of the season, but now they match the win streak of LTU that unfortunately will be coming to an end this game. But definitely a lot of positives to look back on throughout this win streak. They got to go back to the basics, go back to what made them successful in that span, and just continue on from there.
The Indiana Wesleyan offense, despite mistakes, continues to fly high. They came in averaging over 50 a game. Blue Devils came in averaging over 50 a game. Perhaps, though, a silver lining in terms of the learning aspect, the learning curve, the experiences that the Blue Devil team was able to jump into on this homecoming afternoon. It was an absolute pleasure to have you here, whether you tuned in on the Facebook channel or the YouTube page. Highlights of this one coming up on the LTU Sports Report, which you can find on Fox Sports Detroit each Monday at 4:30 p.m. for 22 weeks. Each Monday on Fox Sports Detroit for 22 weeks. And this Blue Devil football program, an interesting week of practice ahead. They'll look to regroup and reset. A 38-24 loss today. Once again, thank you for tuning in. For Dylan Morello and the rest of our outstanding crew, I'm Jason Ross Jr. saying so long. Have a wonderful college football Saturday.
Your Lawrence Tech football team returns to the LTU Athletic Field for the final home game.